It is 10:01. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. In NFL news, the New York Giants are hiring former Titans head coach Brian Callahan to be the quarterback's coach under John Harbaugh. Callahan is one of multiple former Titans coaches to be on the Giants staff, including one that was not a Titans coach, but a Titans head coaching finalist in Matt Nagy, who is the offensive coordinator. College hoops on Tuesday night, number 19 Vanderbilt improved to 7-4 in SEC play with an 84-76 road win over Auburn. Tyler Tanner, 25 points and 6 assists. And Tennessee remains on the road tonight at Mississippi State. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. You can catch the Vol Network call with coverage starting at 7:30 right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So does somebody need to tell the New York Giants and their fans that collecting fired Titans coaches is probably not a good idea? Good morning. We're happy to have you. We're going to dive into that to start the show because the most recently fired Titans head coach is now the quarterback's coach in New York for Jackson Dart. There's a lot of similarities between fired Titans staffs and what John Harbaugh is now having to put together, given the fact that Todd Monken has started to pilfer some Ravens assistants away from him in Cleveland. And we've got a lot of other things to discuss throughout the course of the morning. We're going to get back to our ranking of Titans offseason needs. We're going to go 8 through 5. We did 12 through 9, 12 being the least important. And, of course, working our way up today and tomorrow to the most important needs for the offseason to address. 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate at any point throughout the course of the show. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can interact with us via the F&M Bank chat if you would like to live stream the broadcast today. Robert is already 4 hours of radio in. He's got a cigarette hanging from his lip. He's gutting it out today because Justin had, car trouble at 4:30 in the morning? That sounds awful.
Hey, you ain't never got to worry about me. Don't tell our bosses this, but
I'm perpetually worried about you.
I could probably go 6 to 6. Like, doing it in the morning, I was like, oh, yeah, this is fun. I remembered how much fun radio is. And then I remembered, damn it, I've got to do it with Buck for 3 hours after this.
Really robs the joy of doing this awesome job.
That's what I'm here for.
So that's Brian Callahan, QB coach. That is Frank Bush, linebackers coach. Tim Kelly, tight ends coach in New York. And Matt Nagy, offensive coordinator. Not a former Titans head coach per se, but damn close.
Got pretty close. Pretty close there. There's some rumblings, some rumors about how close it actually got.
It is so wild how Brian Dable and Cam Moore or Brian Callahan just swapped quarterbacks. Said, you take Cam Moore and I'll take Jackson Dart. Ready, go.
What is more bizarre, and listen, I have no personal ill will against Brian Callahan. I rather enjoyed him. I mean, obviously, I did not enjoy his tenure as a head coach, nor did Titans fans, I'm sure. But Brian Callahan is not a bad person. What I will not stand for is propaganda from New York media. I saw a tweet yesterday from Art Stapleton, who covers the New York Giants, and this is not the only tweet to this effect that I saw from Giants media. Art Stapleton on Twitter yesterday. Quarterbacks on Brian Callahan's resume as a position coach slash offensive coordinator. Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow. And just a slew of Titans fans and Giants fans celebrating Brian Callahan's hire, Titans fans being like, there's two that are missing there. There's one really big one that's missing there who started the only full season that Brian Callahan coached he wasn't an offensive coordinator by title, but he was the play caller. And Giants fans got mad at me because I quote tweeted and said, no, wait. There's a very large Will Levis-sized gap. You can hold Cam Ward against him. They were 1-5 with Cam. Cam didn't do anything with Brian Callahan. They lost to the Raiders, right? That's when Brian got fired. And the offense was terrible when Brian Callahan was calling the plays, and there was all manner of disorganization as far as the in-game management went. They took the play calling away from him. It didn't get better. On and on it goes. But you cannot exclude Cam Ward, who maybe you have a more positive feeling on, even though they both had the same record, and the Mason Rudolph, Will Levis experience with Brian Callahan, because Brian Callahan called offensive plays for those two that whole 3-14, that first 3-14 through. So I'm sorry, Giants fans. It's not just Peyton Manning, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, and Joe Burrow. You get a little bit of Will Levis and Mason Rudolph in there, too.
I love that we're talking to, like, maybe the 3 Giants fans that are listening to us right now.
Brother,
in Nashville.
They are pissed on Twitter. I guess Titans fans and Giants fans on social media have been feuding for quite some time because Giants fans were trying to rub it in the nose of Titans fans that they were going to hire Matt Nagy. All of a sudden, Matt Nagy's the offensive coordinator in New York. Titans fans are bringing back old tweets being like, look at you. Now, I don't know how it's going to turn out one way or the other, but it's a funny, weird feud, cross-conference feud on social media that seems to be brewing because there's a lot of Giants fans yelling at me on Twitter being like, reading's hard, huh? I'm like, he called the plays.
Well,
what do you mean, well?
The tweet, factually, is completely accurate. Like, you cannot tell me that the tweet is inaccurate. The tweet stated that the quarterbacks on Callahan's resume as a position coach or offensive coordinator are Manning, Stafford, Carr, Burrow. That is
so he just gets a pass. You want to give him a pass? Go ahead, be the one that gives him a pass. Go ahead, be the one that gives him a pass.
We can do both. We can talk about the context, and we can acknowledge that no lies were told.
It's a disingenuous tweet.
That can also be true.
It is a disingenuous
tweet. It doesn't mean
tweet.
that any lies were told. I have a Giants buddy that listens to the show, diehard Giants fan, Jersey native, who you guys would have seen at the Super Bowl party on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that dude's ugly.
Named Joe, who I will expect a text from in 3, 2. But it is wild to see Giants fans do the same thing that we all did when the Titans hired Brian Callahan. But we did not have
they didn't have Levis
sample
and
size.
Cam and
right. We didn't have the 2 seasons of 3 and 14.
He won 4 games while he was here, okay? And then he was fired 6 games into his second season. Like, I hope he does well. Honest to God, I don't root against him. I am personally glad to see Brian Callahan land on his feet. He didn't get an offensive coordinator gig. He's going to be a quarterback's coach. I'm sure he'll build himself back up. He's not bad at this just because he was dreadful here as a head coach, okay? I refuse to – I'm not down on Brian Callahan's ability to work with the quarterback position. But that tweet and all the tweets like it, selling Giants fans on the idea of Brian Callahan turning Jackson Dart into any of the 4 players listed while excluding the 3 failed – I don't want to say Cam's failed, but he failed Cam, right? Maybe Cam didn't fail, and we'll see what happens with Cam Ward. But he failed Cam Ward wildly. I mean, 1-6, and how much better Cam was with the combination of Bo Hardigree and Mike McCoy. It's a pretty big indictment on Brian Callahan.
Yeah, we all know the context by now. He arrived
apparently not in New York,
in Denver, well into Peyton Manning's career. To say Peyton Manning was an established great at the quarterback position by the time Callahan got to him is an understatement. He arrived in Detroit, 7 years? Stafford, an 2009 draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. Callahan arrived in Detroit in 2016, so Matthew Stafford was pretty close to
on a Hall of Fame track
to his peak in 2016, 7 years into his development as an NFL quarterback.
Oh, God.
And yes, he did coach Joe Burrow as a rookie, but Joe Burrow also a very pro-ready prospect coming out, as was Matthew Stafford, who Callahan got, again, 7 years into his career. So Cam Ward and Will Levis, for that matter, are the 2 outliers there, and we saw what happened. But I'm with you. It does not mean that Brian Callahan is going to do a bad job in this supporting role, he's not calling plays. He's not tasked with time management, knowing rules, when to challenge, when not to challenge, balancing calling plays with the duties of a head coach and leading a locker room. He doesn't have to do any of that.
I'm not down on Tim Kelly as a tight ends coach. I'm not down on Frank Bush as a linebackers coach. I'm not down on Brian Callahan as a quarterbacks coach. Brian Callahan failed here as a head coach. It does not mean that his impact on New York will be as catastrophic as it was here, which set them back, again, in this series of setbacks, self-inflicted wounds that the organization has caused themselves in the hiring of Rand Carthon and Brian Callahan. And, we don't need to relitigate the whole thing. But it is funny to see. It used to be the Tennessee Patriots, right, where Tennessee was hiring John Robinson and Mike Vrabel, and then you got Matt Castle and Logan Ryan and Malcolm Butler and Josh Klein and all these former Patriots that ended up down here. And now it's the New York Titans, which they were. The Jets were the New York Titans at some point in time, right, at their very, very onset.
I can't remember.
You can't even turn on your microphone.
I do not recall.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate throughout the course of the morning. So, head coach resumes versus position and coordinator resumes, because you've got a bunch of former head coaches who failed as head coaches here in Tennessee. You've got a bunch of former Titans staffers, including a former head coach, that failed in Tennessee, but now working in New York. So let's take a look at their resumes as head coaches versus their resumes as coordinators and position coaches coming up next. Nothing worse than an HVAC, electrical, or plumbing emergency. You don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's a very common experience, but not when you choose Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. They provide residential and commercial service for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical issues and have over 35 years of experience. Their techs are vetted and trustworthy. When you get your appointment booked, they will send you a link for your tech with a picture of him and the ability to track them in real time so you don't waste your time waiting around. That is the Happy Hiller promise. Happy you'll be, or the service is free. Hiller goes the extra mile for you, just as they have done for all of their customers for over 35 years, as I mentioned, as a family-owned and operated business. So book online today at happyhiller.com.
So as Titans fans get an opportunity to point and laugh a little bit as the Giants fire Titans head coaches, assistant coaches, offensively and defensively, it does beg the question, how much does Brian Callahan's resume as the head coach and play caller of the Titans go against him as he takes over in his new role as the quarterbacks coach of the Giants to coach Jackson Dart? Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. And that translates over to Robert Saleh's coaching staff, which, as we have discussed, has 4 former head coaches, if you count Bones Fossil's interim tenure as the interim coach of the Rams following Jeff Fisher's firing. Robert Saleh, Brian Dable, Gus Bradley, and John Bones Fossil have all been a head coach in some capacity at some point in their careers before arriving in Tennessee. So, Saleh aside, just with the coaches that are now here as assistants that were formerly head coaches, how much do we take their records as head coaches and apply it to their credentials as offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator?
Bones Fossil's 0-3 we can throw out pretty comfortably, yeah?
Has no bearing on how good he is at the job of special teams coordinator.
He's an excellent special teams coordinator. He was not a good interim head coach. They were 0-3, whatever. Saleh's record is really the only one that matters here because he was the person in the, it's not a final say role because he still answers to Borgonzi and to Brinker and to Amy, right? That's the org chart as currently constituted. But the only head coaching record that truly matters to me is Saleh's because red flag comments, and maybe Titans fans don't care about this the way that, and I don't even think it's a red flag. I just think it's a flagged comment that bears monitoring throughout the course of his tenure as Titans head coach, right? His commentary about why he wants to call the defensive plays and that he, I think to paraphrase slightly, his answer to Nick Suss's question, one of Suss's questions at the press conference, what would he have done differently in New York, brought about the fact that he wants to call defensive plays and that he had joked with Mike Borgonzi about he felt like he was just the red flag and timeout guy. But he wasn't good at the red flags, at the challenge flags, and at the timeouts. It's one of the Jets fans. Jets fans have many criticisms of everybody associated with their organization, rightfully so. They've been dreadful.
Are there examples that you can cite?
We can do that. In fact, that would be a good exercise this offseason to go back through his situational game. God help me if I go back and watch Jets games on Game Pass this offseason, but it's probably worth doing because that is the thing that is brought up the most often. In fact, I could probably text my Fox producer, Ian, if he's got specific games because he is a Jets fan who is anti-Saleh.
That would be quicker. Everybody just text your fellow Jets fans.
Yes.
And
give me a
we'll
game
just outsource
where
the
Robert
information.
Saleh mismanaged those situations. Or if you have examples of him doing it well, we would also take those.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We got our first one. New producer wants to throw in a game against the Lions.
Good or bad?
Are you not using his name either? I genuinely forgot his name the other day. I've since been reminded that it's Zach.
Well, his name is Zach, but then I don't know if we put too much credence in saying his name. So then but he just wanted to say.
Are you instituting a new like a hazing policy or what is this?
Is this about to be Zach's debut on the show?
No. It's not about to beat Zach.
Okay.
No, apparently we made an egregious mistake letting Ross talk at all because now he won't shut up and Zach's having to cut him off yesterday. I had so many people text me about that. That was funny. Ross, shut up.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about a bad game against the Lions. There's your example.
A bad game. What was the year? Nameless producer.
2022.
2022.
It's like he's in Robert's ear. Do we have, what
Robert's
happened?
in my ear, Zach's in Robert's ear.
What happened, nameless ghost producer?
Just put him on a microphone.
No,
this is stupid.
I
This
like
is
this.
telephone.
I like this so much better. What happened in this game? What serves as a criticism of Robert Saleh and his management of the 2022 Jets versus Lions matchup?
It was a close game late, and he just completely fumbled the clock. He had no idea how to do it. He just wasn't a good clock guy.
Wasn't a good clock guy.
He just barely.
Lions, Jets,
He
2022.
told me part of it, and I kind of took a little liberty of it.
So
paraphrased.
This was 2022 his second season?
Was 2022 his second season? He said yes.
I almost said a bad word.
So, yeah, it was late
20
December.
to 17 loss to the 7-7 Lions. The Jets then fell to 7-7 at that point in time. So a 3-point loss. For God's sakes, I'll just read the game recap off ESPN. So, stymied for most of the game were the Lions, unable to get anything going versus the Jets defense. One stunning play reminded everyone how dangerous an offense the Lions are. Goff threw a go-ahead 51-yard touchdown pass to somebody named Brock Wright. Who the hell is Brock Wright?
White tight end.
Really, W-R-I-G-H-T. On 4th and 1 with 1:49 remaining, Lions held on for a 20-7 victory over Zach Wilson and the Jets Sunday that kept them on pace in the NFC playoff hunt. So there is nothing specifically in the game recap, and these are like AP things done on deadline, so they're fast and to the point. There is nothing specifically about Robert Saleh botching the clock at the end in the game recap, though I'm sure if I went back and found some Jets beat writer articles in The Athletic or something to that effect, there would be more pointed criticisms there. But there are examples of this. Jets fans will be able to cite them better than us. I do think maybe it's something that I could do with Cosell, because Greg will have more pointed examples of this in terms of tactics, where Saleh did well, what Saleh did poorly, where Mike LaFleur kind of failed as an offensive coordinator, why, would Zach Wilson have worked with anybody, right? Those kind of conversations.
I will also say the fact that the Jets were 7-7 in late December with not just Zach Wilson, but remember, Mike White had a little spell in there too.
Mike White was better than Zach Wilson.
Well, he had one game. he had a moment.
Yeah, and then Woody Johnson, isn't that the Woody Johnson thing where he went up to him and be like, why are you playing it? His back is broken or something? Why aren't you playing it? His back is broken or something like that? He's got like torn ACL.
Yes,
something like that. There's a weird Woody Johnson
one
thing
of those
in there. I
Woody
don't
Johnson
remember if it was
moments.
2022 or last year.
But, yeah, if you remember, Zach Wilson, so Rodgers goes down in week 1, and the Jets won that game in week 1. Remember, there was that crazy punt return.
It was nuts.
A walk-off win. It was electric. And I remember the celebration after the fact, but the Rodgers thing was hanging over it. That was just a wild, I think it was on Monday Night Football, just a wild opener on Monday Night Football. The fact that they were 7-7 with Zach Wilson playing and then being benched, and then Mike White having that moment, but then being dreadful, and then he was benched and Zach Wilson came in. This Lions game on December 18th was Zach Wilson's return to the lineup after being benched for 3 games in favor of Mike White. So just the fact that they were 500 at this point in the season, I do think is some sort of credit to Robert Saleh that they didn't just bottom out. I understand their defense, the personnel was elite, and the defense was among the best in the NFL. But still, when it's that kind of revolving door at quarterback, they were still afloat at this point in the season.
All right, I have since texted Ian Roddy, my Fox producer, who is a Jets fan. Give me your worst examples of solid game management.
So back to the Lions example. So I found the write-up of what the egregious timeout or lack thereof call was. So it starts at the end of the game. Failure to call timeouts following a 10-yard game. After Detroit scored to take a 20-17 lead with 1:49 remaining, the Jets begin their final drive. With 53 seconds left, Zach Wilson completes a 10-yard pass to Garrett Wilson, moving the Jets to the 48-yard line. Instead of calling a timeout to stop the clock and settle the offense, Saleh allowed the clock to run, wasting roughly 15 to 20 seconds. Delayed timeout on the final drive. Following that 10-yard completion, the clock ran down to 31 seconds before the next snap. That next play was an incomplete pass. Critics argued that using a timeout after the 10-yard catch would have allowed for more time in the final offensive sequence and how it impacted that final sequence. On 4th and 10 from the Jets' 40-yard line, with time expiring, Zach Wilson completes a 20-yard pass to Elijah Moore. Saleh called a timeout with only 1 second remaining. This forced a difficult long-distance 58-yard field goal try from Greg Zuerlein, which he missed. Mismanagement justification from Saleh admitted in hindsight, quote, he could have always have called the timeout to settle the team down, but argued that at the time he felt they had enough time with 3 timeouts remaining. He stated his strategy was to save the timeouts for the final minute, but the execution failed to produce a tying score. So he saved the timeout. It's at the end of the game. He probably should have burned it, especially considering he had 3 timeouts going into that sequence.
Okay.
Okay, that's
There
a
you
fair
go.
one.
There's a good specific.
That was a fair criticism.
All right.
All right, we'll see. It's 8:30 in the morning Los Angeles time, so we'll see how long it takes Ian to get back to me.
Hopefully he doesn't. There's only enough room for input of one producer. Ian Roddy can rot in California. Send him that message.
It's unfortunate how much better he is than you are.
Stay on your coast, Ian Roddy.
Well, we will not be rotting, but thriving tomorrow as we slide into an unforgettable experience and hope you join us. 104.5 The Zone will be at T-Line.
You said rotting.
In West Nashville.
But you said rotting.
For our sweep, sip, and snack curling challenge Thursday, February 12th. Maybe you were watching that gold medal match between the U.S. and Sweden and you thought, hey, that looks fun. So grab your team, hit the ice, and test your skills. Whether you're a seasoned curler or a first-time sweeper that just wants to try the sport, you can purchase a ticket for a discounted ice time. It gets you half an hour of curling and an appetizer for only $25. So we're going to have a great time. We'll be broadcasting live out there tomorrow. So will Cover 2, so will 3HL, and you know that we're going to be hitting the ice and curling.
Curling babies.
After the show. Yeah, I did see that online. Canadians curling babies. Also, U.S. men's hockey starts their preliminary group stage games tomorrow, I believe at 2 p.m. Central against Latvia. So hang out, a couple of ice-cold beverages, watch some Olympic hockey, cosplay as Olympic curlers, and it'll be a great time at T-Line out there in West Nashville tomorrow. So as this applies to, let's start with Gus Bradley, who I think has the most unique situation here because Brian Daboll, we can talk about his record as the Giants head coach, but he's here to be the offensive play caller, to help develop Cam Ward, something that he has proven that he can do at a high level with multiple different quarterbacks at multiple different levels of football.
Yep.
Gus Bradley, hired as the defensive coordinator. As we know, he will not call plays. If I recall, you were very quick to point out his Jags head coaching record.
14-48.
About a decade ago. It's like a reflex for you. Just what's the one thing that I can point out that is bad and will upset people?
Yes, they hired a bunch of failed head coaches to do different jobs.
But like we said, John Bones Fossil, was he a, quote, failed interim coach? Sure, means nothing to what he is as a special teams coordinator. I would also argue that Gus Bradley, in his record as the Jags head coach, means next to nothing about what he will do in a supporting role, effectively, to Robert Saleh, which, by the way, is essentially what he did in San Francisco last year for Kyle Shanahan as the assistant head coach. Like, what bearing does his record as the coach of the Jags 10 years ago have on any non-play calling defensive coordinator?
None. Because as long as he's not calling the defensive plays, you're in a pretty good situation, it seems, right? You're still deferring to Saleh. Now, this is a Saleh, it's not a problem, but it's a situation to monitor. Okay. So if Saleh is going to call the defensive plays, and Gus Bradley, he's not the assistant head coach here.
Not to my knowledge.
I'm looking at the article at TennesseeTitans.com that Jimmy put out after the hire was made official. I'm not seeing anything to the effect of assistant head coach here.
Is there an assistant head coach that has been named?
Not to my knowledge. Now, maybe they don't have to do that right away, right? They will put out an official release when they've hired the full staff, and there may be additional designations that we don't yet have.
The team site currently only has Robert Saleh in the coaching staff portion of the website.
And worth noting, Gus Bradley was the assistant head coach last season in
San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh, you just did what Lucas.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on back there.
I know.
I love that when we do this now, we'll never know if we meaningfully do that as part of the bit or if...
You didn't do that.
They'll never know.
Yeah.
Or did he?
No. I know you didn't do that.
I don't know. Maybe
because
he did.
He looked up with genuine, because his intent was good. His intent was to provide insight and additional context to the discussion, except that insight and additional context had already been disseminated, and he looked up at me with, genuine interest in contributing to the topic. I understand you're busy. It's less excusable for Lucas than it is for Ron.
Well, let me add this note, something that has been brought up. The Giants bringing in Brian Callahan as their quarterback coach. So that makes Tim Kelly, Frank Bush, Denard Wilson.
You're not bringing a bit over from the chat on air. Stop it.
Don't forget Matt Nagy was almost a Titans coach.
You'd have to mention Tim Kelly.
And Denard Wilson is the defensive coordinator, lest we forget.
Forget that Frank Bush is the linebacker coach.
I hate you.
Linebackers, excuse me.
There's more than one.
Okay, so to the question of Gus Bradley's head coaching experience, is it applicable to his current situation as not by any official designation? He's not been named an assistant head coach here, but it is fair to expect that he will participate in the installation of the defense on a week-by-week basis with Robert Saleh. We do not yet know, and this is going to be a question that Saleh will answer either at the Combine when he holds his press conference or with us when he sits down with us at the Combine, because you guys know that we do the annual head coach and GM interview on the radio show at the Combine.
I can't wait to ask Mike Borgonzi what his go-to Italian pasta dish is.
Okay.
And how he uses that in his evaluation of draft prospects when he takes them out to dinner.
I would like for you to come up with a bit to have him compare draft prospects to various kinds of pasta.
It's not a bit.
What do you mean it's not a bit?
It's a serious exercise.
Okay.
Lifestyle.
I forgot that this man is somebody who was packing a bag full of cooking supplies while his roommates were bringing chainsaws and, other brush clearing devices while they were stranded from the storm a couple of weeks ago. Yes, I'm sorry to have poked fun at your pasta expertise. I
Every
apologize.
time Lucas asks an Italian question to him, we have to have like that noise in the background.
What the hell is that?
I can't make the noise. I have to go find it, but it's playing in the background of
sure
like every Italian
what
restaurant.
you just did is probably highly offensive.
No.
It's anti-Italian discrimination tone.
I'll find it. Hold on.
I know what you're talking about.
Either way. So, will Gus Bradley be the person on the sidelines helping Robert Saleh with in-game situations, or will Gus Bradley be in the booth and providing Robert Saleh an additional set of eyes as a defensive coordinator who is not tasked with calling plays? This is a question that we do not have the answer to. What I do not have the answer to is who is going to be responsible for keeping Saleh aware of everything that is happening in the game on offense while he is the defensive play caller, right? We don't have any clarity on that yet. We know who his version of stretch is, and I'm blanking on the guy's name. I'll pull it up. Kaharski reported it, I think, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, something like that. But he does have his in-game situation, his extra set of eyes, his assistant in the booth that way. Will Gus Bradley be on the sideline to help Robert Saleh delegate those duties? Will Gus Bradley be in the booth? Unclear at this point in time. So we will await additional context. But to your original question, Lucas, I do not put any great weight on Gus Bradley's failed tenure as the Jags head coach on his new position with the Titans.
See, I think I did a pretty good job.
No, you could honestly, based on what you did, you could have offended both me and Lucas in the same fell swoop.
But it was also some Mediterranean.
Yeah, it could have been Mediterranean, what you were trying to do.
It is Mediterranean.
Well, we're adjacent.
So, Mike Burgon, if you're going to compare Reuben Bain to a pasta dish.
You know what? You're going to have to ask the questions that way.
If you were made an offer for the 4th overall pick. Oh, God. Is this Tony Soprano singing?
I don't. It sounded like him.
It was. It's an AI Tony Soprano song.
No, it's not.
I'm scared to play it.
Get away from that fast.
I love the sound of an accordion.
It's like that AI Trump thing I sent you guys the other day where the daughter is telling her father that she's pregnant, and the father sends back a very offensive AI Trump video.
But enough about that. I want to talk about our firstborn draft pick, Reuben Bain. You had the opportunity to trade that pick, but you kept it.
That can't be good for your voice, especially with all the cigarettes.
Was not enough. You were able to refuse the offer. Can you tell us what that offer looked like? Or there's going to be a horse head in your bed tonight. All right, Tony, stop singing, dude. Let me get my bit out.
I love an accordion. The older I get, the more I love the sound of an accordion.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it comes in there. It comes in.
I always assume
little guitar.
Accordions are like polka music.
No, well, yeah, you can definitely do.
Oh,
your musical impressions are horrendous.
That sounds just like an accordion.
Do an accordion again. Do the accordion again. Do what you just did.
I'm not a jukebox, buddy.
You're literally you're a human jukebox. That's your job.
It sounds like the noise that Forrest Gump makes
Yeah.
after the principal walks out of his house like, your mother sure do love you.
Oh, because that's the sound that the principal is making while he's having sex with the mom?
Yes,
that's
Buck.
awful.
Yes, that's because that's exactly what
Hold
it is.
on.
Forgot about that
Listen,
scene.
guys, I don't think I'm that far off. Like, I think that's pretty close.
Can you keep that for a sec? This is the first time this has ever happened in this setting, a tease like this behind an Italian accordion. The number of prospects that have been invited to the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine have been released. And so we know which VFLs and former Vandy players will be talking to in Indy. And we'll tell you next. Okay, a lot to get to here. Big win last night for Vanderbilt basketball, going down to the Plains. Tyler Tanner, red hot as they bounce back from that loss to Oklahoma. Nate Oates is dying on the Charles Bediaco Hill. But in the meantime, 319 participants have been invited to the NFL Scouting Combine in Indy. We will be there, which means we will be there with a chance to talk to the Tennessee players that have been invited, of which there are 6. They are wide receiver Chris Brazzell, tight end Miles Kitselman, defensive lineman Bryson Eason, outside linebacker Joshua Josephs, cornerbacks Colton Hood, and Jermod McCoy. Vanderbilt has the 2, Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers. Now, Stowers could very well be a first-round draft pick, and Pavia, prompts all sorts of discussion, regardless of where he lands, if he does end up getting drafted, which I think will be an interesting conversation to have when we are in Indianapolis.
Just gut feeling, though, around the room as we sit here today before we get to the Combine. We've done the Senior Bowl. We know he's 5'9" and not 6 foot. Does Diego Pavia get drafted? I say no.
I say yes.
Yeah, I could see somebody take a flyer on him, especially considering how weak the class is. Like, if you go through that list of combine invites, there's not a lot of guys that you feel super comfortable with. Who is the Penn State dude? Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
If Trace McSorley is going to get drafted in the 6th round, Diego Pavia is going to get drafted.
Because you could look at it as
Trace McSorley significantly bigger, though, than Pavia, isn't he?
No, he's a little tiny dude. Let me look at his little scatterbrained ass.
McSorley kind of hung around a little bit too, right?
Didn't he? He was in Arizona for a minute, I thought.
Wikipedia says 6 foot, but it's Wikipedia.
Yeah, he ain't 6 foot, buddy. Hold on, let me get the combine.
But you can look at it 2 ways. Diego Pavia is 5'9". He'll never succeed as a quarterback in the NFL. Or he's 5'9", and he did that all season.
Okay, he was 6 foot and an 1/8 inch.
Nah, okay.
And 202 pounds.
Significantly bigger than Pavia.
No, okay, he's still a little dude. He's still a little. Let me find some little dudes.
This other one's littler.
No, I'm about to find you a littler dude. Hold on.
He's a playmaker. Diego Pavia is still a playmaker. Sure. So I'll be slightly surprised if his name doesn't get called at some point. No major snubs for either team unless I'm missing something here.
There is an update on the James Pierce situation. Rakea Jackson is now willing to testify against James Pierce in this.
I did see that.
Ongoing legal situation. That does not bode well for James Pierce.
That's gotten pretty nasty.
Do you guys know, and some more positive news.
Sorry, I just saw that on Twitter.
No, I'm glad you updated us. Do you know the shortest quarterback ever drafted in NFL history?
Ooh, who would that be?
At 5'7", Eddie LeBaron.
Wow.
160 pounds.
What was
before
the year?
1950.
Okay.
Now, before the merger in 1935, there was a Scoots McKenzie who was 5'2" and 107 pounds.
What a name.
Oh, well, that's not a real person. I just made all of that up.
Scoots McKenzie.
He was 5'7" and 102 pounds. A brisk breeze would blow that guy to a first down.
That should be Kyler Murray's nickname.
Scoots McKenzie.
5'10".
Scoots McGee.
Scoots McMurray.
Hey, got himself a big old contract at 5'10". I understand
quarterback.
His skill set is a little bit different, but hey, Pavia can get out there and run around.
So he can't run like Kyler.
No. But I do expect him to get drafted.
What is this Pavia propaganda?
Talking like he's a little. He get out there and run around talking like a little.
I watched him,
little fella. Just because he beat your team doesn't mean he's getting drafted, Lucas.
He didn't beat my team. He took my team behind the woodshed. He shredded my defense. And he did it to a lot of defenses and was a Heisman finalist because of it. So, dude's just a playmaker. So, that'll be interesting. And he's going to have something interesting to say at the podium.
I'm actively rooting for media availability for Pavia. I would be surprised. But, again, we'll see.
So, there will be time to talk about the most draftable prospects from both Tennessee and Vanderbilt and the other SEC prospects that are invited. Quickly, the SEC quarterbacks being invited are, of course, Ty Simpson of Alabama. We already mentioned Pavia, Garrett Nussmeier, as expected, and Arkansas quarterback Taylon Green.
He's an interesting one, isn't he?
Dual threat, playmaker. Dude, are
people projecting him as a quarterback?
Taylon Green? Yeah, for sure. He didn't make himself as much money at the Senior Bowl as I expected him to because he is kind of like a prototypical built in a lab type where it's like, oh, look at the same reasons that you fell in love with Anthony Richardson with the athleticism, you would fall in love with him because of his stature. Like, look how big this guy is. Maybe not the most accurate, but we can fix him. I thought that there would be more of that out of the Senior Bowl. There has not. I think he's cleanly in the day 3 quarterback conversation. I don't think he's taken as someone to be a supposed or expected starter.
615-737-1045 if you would like to jump in on this conversation. Were you getting ready to pivot?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if this call is related to what we were talking about, and then if not, we can talk a little college hoops.
Let's wait.
If you would like.
Oh, it is.
It doesn't say.
It does. Chuck in Clarksville to talk about Diego Pavia.
Oh, it doesn't say that on my end. Why is your screen faster than mine is? All right, very good. Chuck in Clarksville.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Great.
Hey, got me?
Yes.
Yep.
Hello, Chuck, are you there?
Don't do that.
Wait, Chuck.
I am. I just okay. Hey, I think y'all a little wrong on Pavia. I've been around a long time. I've watched a lot of players. He reminds me a lot of Doug Flutie and Drew Brees. So I think he could go late 3rd round, but I think no later than the early 6th round because he's got qualities that NFL teams are going to like, and he can drop that deep ball in pretty good. So I look for him to go. I just think you're all kind of, discounting some of the qualities he's got that remind me of Drew Brees and Doug Flutie.
Well, who's y'all?
You,
Chuck.
you too.
I'm out here saying,
Hello, Chuck.
Dude's a playmaker. He's going to get drafted.
Why would you make that harder?
I think I'm going to do that every time someone's like, do y'all have me? Hello?
You know how many old people are listening to FM radio at this time of day?
Are you there?
You're just going to sit there and bother old people?
Siri, what should we add to someone's, oh, no, it's not Siri. What's Amazon's thing? Alexa, add hemorrhoid cream. Everybody's getting that on their shopping list.
What is it with you? Do you just have like a bad hemorrhoid?
I think it's just a funny word. I think people don't really know what it is, and they're like, oh, it's something with a booty, and it's funny.
Vanderbilt 84, Auburn 76. The Commodores bounce back in a big way. This is a quality road win. Auburn does have a losing record in SEC play, but Neville Arena, a tough place to play. Alabama just skated out of there on Saturday, needing every bit of Charles Bediako that they could get before he was ultimately ruled ineligible, which we will hear from Nate Oates on here in just a second. But Tyler Tanner, man, he is heating up. Vanderbilt 20-4. They are 7-4 in SEC play. Tanner, 6 of 16 from the floor, but had 12 points from the free throw line, where he was 12 of 13. 25 points total, 4 boards, 6 assists. He is averaging nearly 19 points per game and 5.3 assists per game. And this is right off the heels of that 37-point performance in a loss against Oklahoma. But he has had 24 or more points in each of the last 3 games. And Tyler Tanner appears to be the engine that could very well drive Vanderbilt if they are to make a run in the NCAA tournament. Impressive win for them. Tennessee looks to bounce back from a heartbreaking loss against Kentucky at Mississippi State. A winnable game, but on the road in the SEC. Meanwhile, the fallout continues from the Charles Bediako situation as he was denied his injunction. He will be ineligible. Greg Sankey, the rare moment of him going up against Alabama and basically saying that he does not think Bediako should be eligible, that it would open this Pandora's box, which I think most people agree with. But
Already
Nate
has,
Oates,
kind of.
Nate Oates is dying on this hill, and he had this to say. This is, of course, after Bediako was denied, and Nate Oates continues to be asked about it.
It's not the case. It would be nice if everybody that was commenting, writing, talking about this actually educated themselves on the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is Charles left here with his body looking pretty good at 235. He went to the G League. You don't get the same treatment as you do. There's a reason all of the G League players are trying to come. I shouldn't say all. There's a reason there's a lot of G League players trying to come back to college. The money's a lot better. The development's a lot better. You get way better. You get a full-time dietitian, full-time strength coach. You're not traveling on commercial flights, spending all your time in airports, not being able to develop. Charles actually has lost weight since he went to the G League. His development wasn't what, you would think being a pro. No, you're more of a professional, able to focus on getting your body right in college. So, he's here, he's in school. We're going to help him try to gain weight back that he's lost since he was in the G League. We're going to continue to help his basketball development and continue to help his development as a student and a student athlete. So,
Why does he sound like Tom Izzo?
Oh, you never heard Nate Oates talk?
I don't think I have.
Yes, you have. They play Ole Miss tonight on the road in the first game post Charles Bediako hearing or ruling, I should say. But he continues to die on this hill. And I don't necessarily disagree with Nate Oates that players are put in a better position to succeed and have more resources at the college basketball level than they do at the G League. They're certainly better compensated. But
You don't think that they have better resources in college basketball than the G League?
no. I'm saying I don't disagree with that.
Oh,
They
okay.
absolutely
I'm sorry,
do.
I misheard you.
Like everything he just said about a trainer and somebody that's the travel aspect of it, all of it. It's a better situation. But that should justify, like, the dude made his decision, and he continues to cite examples of guys playing professionally overseas before coming to the U.S. as if that is anything close to the situation of Bediako starting his college career, making that decision that is known to be irreversible, and then trying to bend the rules to come back.
Should it justify it? No, but it's a completely reasonable explanation as to why you would exploit every loophole at your disposal if you're a G League player. Like, I get the logic, even if I disagree with it, and I have no problem with them trying to exploit these loopholes while these loopholes exist. Now, the legal process has since closed this loophole for Charles Bediako, okay? We can move on, and that will hopefully not be something that can be exploited in further examples or instances where something like this might pop up. But I don't blame Bediako at all. I mean, the G League is not a fun existence.
I get caught between the two because I'm with you. Yeah, I don't blame the guy. It's a better situation for him to be in college, but he also made that decision. He made the decision to leave college after 2 years and did not get drafted. So I get caught between, needing to live with the decision that you made and also trying to do what's best for you in the current moment, which is to try and exploit every loophole.
Maybe. I mean, we are more severe, I think, with athletes at younger ages than normal people. But I do think that there is some level of logic to say, are you going to hold every decision that a 22-year-old makes to them for the foreseeable future to an extreme? I think that's what I get it if you want to, but it does seem like I feel like a lot of us would not like that logic applied to our respective lives, not participating in collegiate or professional athletics.
Yeah, speak for yourself. I was a saint at 22. What's the opposite of ne'er-do-well? I was
always do well.
Always do well. Exactly. Perpetual do well.
Didn't you poop in a toilet and leave it on somebody's lawn?
Coming up for Dumbest Thing in Sports, we've got Post Malone tickets. If you'd like to see Post Malone, all you got to do is tell us your dumbest thing in sports, 615-737-1045. That guy had it coming. Give us a call with your dumbest thing in sports next. But you got to say bye. I just do that part.
Go.
11:03. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. On Tuesday night, number 19 Vanderbilt improved to 7-4 in SEC play with an 84-76 road win at Auburn. Tyler Tanner, 25 points and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Tennessee remains on the road tonight at Mississippi State. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. You can catch the Ball Network call with coverage starting at 7:30 right here on The Zone. In NFL news, the New York Giants are filling out John Harbaugh's coaching staff with a common trend in former Titans coaches, as former Titans head coach Brian Callahan reportedly will be the quarterback's coach to work with Jackson Dart in New York. He joins linebackers coach Frank Bush, defensive coordinator Denard Wilson, and tight ends coach Tim Kelly as former Titans coaches on staff, as well as almost Titans head coach Matt Nagy, who is the offensive coordinator under Harbaugh. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
For the opportunity to win tickets to Post Malone's upcoming show at Nissan Stadium, 615-737-1045. Call in and tell us what the dumbest thing in sports this week is. So I had one, but Robert has since dispelled the level of dumb that I thought was associated with the Puka Nacua tweet. People thought he was pointing and laughing at Sam Darnold for, I guess, just existing in a Super Bowl. And Ernest Jones, Titans legend, Seahawks linebacker, clapped back at him and said, "Ain't you at home, goofy ass?" But what was so where did you find the explanation of what Nacua was actually laughing at Sam Darnold for?
I saw it on Twitter, him talking about it, but it was something in the game where Sam Darnold ended up pushing a Patriots defensive lineman. There was like a little scuffle, and that's what he was laughing about. Maybe laughing at the fact that, like, you're not a tough guy. Why are you acting like this? But maybe still laughing at him. But it was said like he wasn't laughing at the fact that Sam Darnold was winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, very good. So it's not that as dumb as I thought it was initially, so I will pivot. The dumbest thing in sports this week is people who complained about Bad Bunny's halftime show not being in English, but also complaining about Kendrick Lamar's halftime show very much being in English. Those people. Dumbest thing in sports.
Are you
there
saying that?
seems to be a theme.
Are you saying that because of what the chat?
What happened with the chat? What did the chat do?
Greg
in the F&M Bank chat, I don't even want to bring this up. He said, "I'm still laughing at all these Americans saying they loved the halftime show in Spanish and don't even understand it. Hilarious. So we should just do away with all words in music." Like you just...
Oh, yes, you specifically. You, my friend, are an idiot.
So, like, when
That's
the Rolling
dumb.
Stones play a show in Argentina and sell out a stadium, all of those people are just idiots, because why would they enjoy music that they don't know the words to? They shouldn't like the Rolling Stones.
Or what's the lead singer of Motley Crue, and he's like, "Well, I get my OB, whoop a dad, I whoop my knee, come on."
Famously, everybody knows what he's saying in that lyric. So.
That's just that part we got. So,
Anyway.
yes, if you were complaining about Bad Bunny singing in Spanish, but also complaining about Kendrick Lamar rapping in English, you are dumb.
My dumbest thing in sports this week is Kalshi. So, Kalshi, is it an offshore? Like, where does Kalshi originate?
I think it's from here.
It's American, yeah. It's an American web-based prediction market. It is used for sports betting. So, Robert, on Friday, when you were out, went through all of the side bets, right? What color will the Gatorade be in the Super Bowl? Who will perform with Bad Bunny? And, of course, a very popular prop bet was that Cardi B will perform with Bad Bunny as they have a hit song together.
Mm-hmm.
She was plus money.
She was. It felt like a good bet.
The two people that did perform with her were minus. Ricky Ricardo or who
Ricky
was it?
Martin.
Ricky Ricardo.
Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga.
How many people in America looked at that person and said, "Is that Ricky Martin?" Very muscular, tan, Latin man.
It was. I
Is
thought
that
it was
Ricky Martin? It was, in fact, Ricky Martin.
He was excellent.
Ramon texted the group text asking Lucas, "Is that Ricky Martin?"
Anytime
All of America confused by the one brown guy who's not Bad Bunny.
Why am I the foremost? Why is everybody looking at me?
Because you're the person who admitted to crying during the Bad Bunny performance.
I might have teared up upon rewatches. Millions of people gambled. Millions of dollars were gambled on Cardi B performing during the Super Bowl halftime show. In fact, $47 million bet on Cardi B performing.
Yes.
On
outrageous amount of money, by the way.
Specifically, yes. Cardi B did not get up there and sing or rap with Bad Bunny, but she was one of the multiple celebrities that appeared kind of under the house that he was performing on top of, including Jessica Alba, Pedro Pascal, Karol G. But Cardi B was out there. She was dancing in front of a camera. She was not rapping per se, but it has led to some controversy as the prediction market is saying just dancing in the background does not count, which has led to a complaint filed with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and has turned into a big old mess for Kalshi. So if you gambled on Cardi B to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, should you win your money given that she was on the field?
Hell yes.
She was technically doing something in front of a camera. She was dancing. The definition of perform from Oxford is to carry out, accomplish, or fulfill, or to present a form of entertainment to an audience. Is Cardi B dancing in front of a camera, among other celebrities, to Bad Bunny, a form of entertainment to an audience?
Yes.
I would say it absolutely is.
It's not even the most problematic thing that Kalshi's done. Have you followed any of this Giannis stuff?
No, not really.
Giannis has, before the NBA trade deadline, which we didn't really talk about, what was that, last week? Because we don't do a ton of NBA around here. You guys don't really seem to get into it that much. It's fine. I'm sure there's NBA fans among you, but as general topics, we don't dive in. Giannis has been talking about and messaging that he wanted to be traded, Lucas, from the Milwaukee Bucks, okay? So you have NBA insiders reporting all over the place that Giannis is expected to be moved by the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis, after the trade deadline comes out, after his name has been in the news for weeks, like the Miami Heat are trying to put together a trade package to acquire Giannis. I'm sure other teams and other media markets were talking about what's it going to take to acquire Giannis. Giannis is available for trade. The trade deadline passes. Giannis doesn't move. He comes out as a brand ambassador for Kalshi after millions upon millions of dollars. I would bet even more money than was wagered on the Cardi B situation. I don't know an exact figure on what was wagered on where Giannis's next landing spot would be on Kalshi. He blatantly used his own name to boost his stake in Kalshi, to boost the money bet on Kalshi on where Giannis would land next, and then just didn't move. Is saying after the fact, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, I'm not going anywhere. Milwaukee's my home. Stars come to Milwaukee to play with me. Shut up. It's as egregious a thing as I've ever seen, and it's blatant. Like he's not even hiding it. There needs to be more regulation on this stuff.
Pay that man his money.
All right. Well, if you bet on the Cardi B thing, absolutely. If you got gaslit by Giannis, he should lose money.
You should at least get your money back. Too nebulous a word used by Kalshi in the word perform. Which
it's on you.
I would say she did, especially if I bet on it.
My dumbest thing in sports, Lucas and I would be hated in NBA facilities if this was the case. Bleacher Report putting this out this morning. Golden State reportedly alerted Jonathan Kuminga, who is a player on their team, that a person around him was, quote, taking too much food from the family room. Sources surrounding the situation says the relationship between Kuminga and the organization has become, quote, petty and, quote, should have ended years before. If this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, the fact that someone is taking too many chicken tenders out of the family room's commissary, then yeah, it should have ended a long time before. You're paying these guys hundreds of millions of dollars and their family's not allowed to get an extra breadstick. I don't know the depth of this. Maybe they're bringing in to-go containers. I would say that's fruitful.
The two of you would have used this. Used this wildly.
It's being
There
thrifty.
was fried chicken downstairs at 9:30 in the morning, and the two of you ran down there immediately.
If my fingers did not need to not be sticky right now, I'd be eating one of them wings that's sitting in the break room table right now. And anybody out there that works here that's hearing my voice, don't go in there and eat them wings because I'm eating them after the show. Don't you touch them. In fact,
he's going to get wings as we speak.
He's gone.
Okay, very good. Wait. Come back here. Last time you did this, you didn't have the phone pot faded up. Is the phone pot faded up so I can take calls?
I guess you'll find out.
Okay, now go eat your wings. 615-737-1045 is the number. What is the dumbest thing in sports this week? Remember to stay on hold after you give your submission, because we will pick one of you who wins the Post Malone tickets, and then that will be the way for us to contact you after the fact if you do win.
Somebody done ate every one of them.
Oh, they're gone?
Every one of them's gone.
Oh, damn, buddy. I'm sorry.
Every one.
I offered to buy you breakfast this morning.
They just bones in there. Somebody left the damn bones.
No, they didn't. There are not bones
That's
in a
messed
tray.
up.
You're right. I'd have brought them in here and cleaned them up, but
I offered to buy you breakfast this morning. You turned me down.
Should we take the calls on the other side?
Why don't we just stick here and do a long segment here?
yeah, just knock them out.
Yeah, let's just get this done. Harry is in Bellevue.
Yeah, it's got to be former Tennessee Vol James Pierce Jr., the Falcons defensive end, stalking his girlfriend, his Lamborghini, slamming his car, running through a cop, and probably blowing his career, at least the first beginning of his career that started off pretty strong, just dumb. So
It's a really, really bad situation. Yeah, and you hate it for everybody involved. James Pierce is just kind of throwing his NFL. It doesn't mean that he won't eventually, get back, but there's some serious jail time associated with any one of these charges that he has. So it is I don't want to call it a good submission, but it is an exceedingly dumb submission.
It is an appropriate one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris in Thompson Station.
Yeah, guys, I saw the NFL release the top 100 plays of the season, and what I didn't have on my bingo card for that was Mariota throwing a dime to Traylon Burks for the number 24 play of the season and catching a touchdown.
I mean, listen, it's not dumb. It was the best catch of the season.
It was the catch of the year.
It was the catch of the year.
100%.
So his submission is that it's on there? Chris, I'm sorry. Maybe I don't understand the context. Why is it your dumbest thing in sports?
That it happened. That Traylon Burks made it happen. That's what was.
Oh yes, the trailer. Yeah. That's fair.
I didn't have.
It's one of the most jaw-dropping moments I had all year.
Yeah. No, there's not a play that didn't involve a Titans game that I physically or audibly reacted to more than watching Traylon Burks go Odell Beckham on us. From Marcus. With Jerry McNichols on the field.
That's great. Not if you're a Titans fan, understandably so.
Robert, did you disagree? You seem to disagree that was catch of the year.
No, because that probably was catch of the year. I was going to say play of the year is the Jameis trick play where he rolls and spins and rumbles and fumbles into the end zone. That was definitely play of the year.
Yeah.
Dylan is in Hermitage.
Yeah, just the inability to figure out where I want to watch a sports event. Do I need to have this additional service? Do I need to have this for the Olympics, this for golf, this for football? It is so hard to be a sports fan on TV right now. It's ridiculous.
Thank you for the call. So I'm not experiencing those kind of issues because I have all the streaming services and I have cable. And some of them are part of my cable package. I'm not, I'm paying independently. I think I could get Disney Plus, which also has the NBA and maybe Monday Night Football through my Verizon subscription and stuff like that. I think I'm covered across the board. So I have not had the kind of experience. Have either of you had difficulty seeking out sports? Because I'm sure this is a generational thing as much as anything. I'm honest to God, I'm keeping my cable package just because I don't want to have the problems that Dylan is having.
It's annoying to just have to constantly be seeking stuff out. Even if you do have every cable package, you have to have Amazon Prime to watch Thursday Night Football, right? You have to have Peacock if you want to watch whatever Olympic events are on other than whatever NBC is showing.
I think the one that I can get rid of is Paramount. Paramount seems to be fundamentally useless.
Oh, I use Paramount routinely.
Oh, for soccer?
Yeah. But it's just a constant chase. A constant chase. So I don't.
It's annoying. It's it's a problem that will become more and more prevalent because that's not going to end, right? Aren't we talking Didn't Goodell answer a question at Super Bowl about licensing games to streamers? Like Twitch streamers and stuff like that, because of the massive amount of audience that these people have? It would be disgusting.
That ain't the info my noggin retains.
Yeah.
I retain random weights and heights and colleges of people.
I know, buddy. Zach is in Chattanooga.
Hey, Buck. My dumbest thing in sports this week, well, you could say the Los Angeles Clippers organization as a whole, but specifically last night in the third quarter when they were trying to roll the ball with very little time left, and the guy just runs down the court, and then they get a turnover.
Oh, God. It's really bad. Thank you for the call. One more for Ryan in Lebanon.
What's up, guys? Love y'all's show. The dumbest thing in sports for me is Seattle Public Schools to stay open and deny any excused absence during the Seahawks victory parade. Man, let the kids out of school, man. Let them go to the parade.
Yeah, so I thank you for the call, Ryan. That might be my pick, because I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to be kind of like, I don't know, maybe the kids need to be in school for something like a parade.
No.
Maybe you watch it on TV. But
Let them out.
No, I know. Because, like, how many times? I mean, Seattle's had 2 championships, and they've been within the modern era. But, like, really, how often do you get the opportunity to witness a championship parade? Nashville has never had a championship parade, right? They did one after the Titans went to the Super Bowl, which just is kind of like a, hey, guys, great season, one of the first seasons in Tennessee type of deals.
It was a unique scenario.
Very unique scenario where everybody just was kind of like happy to be there, even though I'm sure all of them were miserable.
I was watching the John Elway 30 for 30, and they did that in Denver when they lost one of those.
Maybe that was a more common thing at a certain point in time. But my initial reaction was, you need to take a day off of school for that. Just put it on TV. But
how many of them are going to call in sick anyway?
Oh, no, for sure.
If I'm a parent, no, I'm sure as hell taking my son to the Super Bowl parade. He can miss a day of algebra.
I think that's cool. But you're also the person that faked sick during National Signing Day.
R.I.P.
I would pick Ryan in Lebanon. That's a pretty good one. That Seattle would not give public school students the day off to be able to attend the championship parade. All right, very good. Ryan is going to Post Malone. Call in every Wednesday at 11 o'clock for the opportunity to win great prizes like Post Malone tickets for the dumbest thing in sports this week. We're going to circle back around to this quarterbacks of the offseason piece that Ben Solak put together and some Titans mentions in it and how they're applicable to you. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. You've got one life, and it's too short for not nows, maybe laters, and tomorrows. If you're noticing issues with ED or performance, then your relationships, your confidence, even your career may have already been affected. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic and some even unsafe. Guys, no more excuses. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is the state's first men's health-focused urology practice, with multiple urologists and providers focused solely on male performance. No unproven snake oil or peptides without solid research. Since 2014, they've pioneered men's health in Tennessee and have been testing and growing to make sure you get the best care and the safest, most effective treatment. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 right now, or book online in under 30 seconds at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. As NFL free agency looms, the offseason quarterback carousel looms as well. And we've talked about some of the key free agent names at quarterback, right? Malik Willis, Kirk Cousins, assuming he does get released, which has been reported that will be the case in Atlanta. But Ben Solak of ESPN put out an article titled How QB-Needy Teams Can Approach the Bad Offseason Market. And he highlights two that he says are the offseason's best options in what is not a great quarterback offseason. Both are currently under contract in Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray and Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Now, obviously, the Titans not going to be a part of this carousel, but for the purposes of this conversation, let's start with this. Who would you say is more likely to remain in the market that he is currently in? Kyler Murray in Arizona or Tua Tagovailoa in Miami? Both have new head coaches.
Oh, Tua. The contract is so much harder to move than Kyler's is. Kyler, it would be an unpleasant situation, and Arizona would probably still have to eat some level of poison pill where they eat some money on the contract to be able to move him, but I just can't imagine that. Who's taking that Tua contract on, even if Miami eats a ton of money? Like, you're talking an outrageous dead cap hit to move on from Tua for a player that got benched. I mean, Kyler... Where are we on the Kyler thing? Did he get soft benched?
It was kind of a weird situation.
It was a weird situation because he did experience an injury in the Titans game, right? That was when Jacoby Brissett first emerged, and Kyler
came back.
Kyler did come back a little bit, but then ended up missing some time and ultimately ended up on the injured reserve and didn't reappear at any point last season. It felt like, all right, they are in a situation where they think Brissett gives them a better chance to win than Kyler does right now. And for Kyler to get healthy is a priority because that would allow them to then shop him for quarterback-needy teams because there are a great many, and this is a terrible free agency class and I don't know, somebody will end up being better out of this draft than we give them credit for. But you're not wowed by the current candidates that are available to you via the draft.
The cap hit is pretty similar on both. In 2026, for Kyler, it's $52.6 million. For Tua, it's $56.2 million. Now, the Dolphins have an out on Tua after this coming season where they would have to take on a $34.8 million dead cap. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have an out on Kyler that would be a $0 dead cap, but it comes after the 2027 season, of which he has a $45.5 million cap hit. So, I don't know. Is Tua's situation really that much harder to deal with here? That they feel pretty similar to me.
Tua's a very specific. I mean, Tua's a very specific player. Like, Brian Flores didn't do an awful job with Tua, but there was always that kind of tension about Flores didn't really seem to want to play him or draft him and wanted to go with Ryan Fitzpatrick that year when Tua first got there. They ended up having a pretty lengthy win streak with Tua and Flores. That, ironically enough, the Titans ended in December. I can't remember what year that was, but they were riding like an 8 or 9 game winning streak coming into Nissan Stadium a few years back where Tua was playing decent ball.
Who would y'all contract stuff aside?
I'd rather have Kyler.
You'd rather have Kyler
10 times out of 10.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Just even with the injuries Kyler deals with, like just the player that Tua is, I'm more worried about having to fix him and fix his play style than Kyler. Like, you can deal with the dumb stuff that Kyler does, like the Call of Duty or the non-leader or whatever. I'd rather deal with that.
Got some of that too, though.
Or where he called out, like getting a fresh start. Oh yeah, I'd love that. Like, yeah, I'm good on that, man.
I have bigger issues with what Tua was at a podium last year than Mike McDaniel. He just seemed kind of like, I don't know, not with it.
Well, what do you mean? Like, how much of Tua's podium stuff were you watching in Miami?
There was a lot that ended up at, I DVR, I'm going to sound very old, but I DVR NFL Live every day because it's a good way for me to keep up on things that are happening, everywhere else in the league while we are very hyper-local. And there was a ton of Tua press conferences that were being ran, especially around the time when Mike McDaniel's leadership was being questioned and there was volunteered information about guys not showing up to meetings and Tua talking about that kind of stuff when that's as much on him as it was on them. So ironically enough, I consumed a fair amount. Also, I listen to Levitard every day. It's a very Miami-based show. So I feel like I have an inordinate amount of Dolphins knowledge.
Whenever Tua ends up being a podcast host, if his podcast is not called Talk Tua,
Well, it's already taken by the Hawk Tua girl.
Is that what her podcast is?
I'm pretty
called?
sure it's.
Talk
I have
to
no
It.
clue.
I probably shouldn't look this up. On
Well, it's
my work
not like
computer.
going to be anything.
Well, they don't know that.
I don't know what I.
Dadgummit, it is Talk to Her.
Yeah,
Dang
100%.
it,
Listen,
dadgummit.
you know what? To that girl's credit, like she may never be worth a damn on anything ever again, but
She maximized
She
her
tried to max that stuff
situation.
out, man.
Yeah, she had a window and she took it.
Yeah.
Talk to a me. Is that fair game?
Talk to a me. I'd rather him just retire. Yeah, her YouTube.
I just don't ever want to hear Tua talk again. Like some of the stuff he says.
That's what it would be. Tua talk.
Tua talk.
Yeah.
Tua talk.
He, unlike Kyler, does have some level of continuity, as Bobby Slowick is the offensive coordinator in Miami who worked with Tua last year as the passing game coordinator under Mike McDaniel. He was retained and promoted when Jeff Hafley took over, whereas Mike LaFleur steps into Arizona as the head coach and presume offensive play caller. I can't remember if LaFleur has publicly said that he is calling plays offensively.
I don't remember that off the top of my head.
So those are kind of the two headliners of the quarterback offseason. We've spoken about Malik Willis, who Solak sort of headlines in his next tier. But what about Kirk Cousins? What kind of bridge quarterback option is Kirk Cousins, who will turn 38 before the season kicks off?
He was 5-2 the end of the season, and I know that Atlanta's got better skill players than average and a good offensive line situation for him. But I don't know. I thought that there was a scenario in which they could start Kirk Cousins over Penix.
With his history with Stefanski, it wouldn't have really surprised anyone, but it's gotten out there pretty quickly that they plan to release him.
So, who needs a bridge quarterback? The Jets? Is Kirk Cousins going to succeed with New York? Probably not.
What is Indy going to do? Who in the world are the Colts going to start a quarterback?
I would not bring back Daniel Jones. That's an Achilles injury.
And the tibia. He was playing on a fractured tibia when he tore the Achilles.
It sucks so bad for Daniel Jones. Like it's the reverse Kenneth Walker, right? Like Kenneth Walker is going to cash in a huge way. He just won Super Bowl MVP.
I'd say it's the reverse. He was on the Sam Darnold track. One-year deal, lighting it up.
For sure.
Going to get himself a big deal either there or elsewhere, and it came crashing down.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of like the Lindsey Vonn thing. Like, he fought through it. He's like, no, my buddies from college made me this 4D printed brace. I promise I can play on this. They're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't. He's like, nah, I got it. And the next game, whacka.
What the hell kind of sound effect is that?
That's what your tibia
That's what it
breaks.
sounds
Whacka.
Yeah. Megan has told me that is the sound it makes.
It sounds like a Muppet show
Please
in a hospital.
Please do not jeopardize your fiance's good name as a doctor by putting her name anywhere near our nonsense.
Yep, I know that noise anywhere. That's a broken tibia. Heard it many a time.
All of a sudden, you're I almost said a bad word, David Chow. I don't know why I'm so comfortable getting almost cussing today.
A little shaky.
Gotten close a couple of times today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
All right, so let's figure out which teams could use a bridge quarterback, right? We agree the New York Jets, or do we see the Jets kind of doing what they did with Justin Fields with someone like Malik Willis?
I mean, Fields is still technically under contract.
How do you have any hope right now if you're a Jets fan, man? I mean, there's just zero.
And they got Brady Cook. He started a couple games. You like Brady Cook?
Exactly.
He said,
my point exactly. Well, you got Brady Cook.
Don't look back at that sad little Jets fan in the room with you and ask him, you like Brady Cook, bud? You want?
I thought Zach was a Giants fan.
Jets, wrong.
Jets
wrong.
fan. Sorry, Zach.
All right, bridge quarterback needs. I would say Miami could use a bridge quarterback situation, even though they have one under contract. That's a very specific situation. The Jets are in this situation. I would say that the Cleveland Browns are in a weird quarterback situation. Is he going to start? Is Watson going to start for them next year? He was cleared off to return off PUP. What week did the Titans play the Browns? 14? So theoretically, he should be back.
Yeah, I don't know if I see the Browns acquiring. Throw somebody else in there and just keep collecting them.
God. I mean, that's what they did all offseason. Pickett, Flacco. Who's the other one that they ended up cutting? The former Ravens, Snoop Huntley, right?
The Colts are in certainly the most precarious QB situation in the division.
Probably need a bridge quarterback situation as we await Aaron Rodgers' decision. You could argue that Minnesota could use a bridge quarterback. That's the thing that makes the most sense. Kirk Cousins in Minnesota makes the most sense. You bring him home. You give JJ a little bit of a life raft, right, in case that something goes wrong. And also, Kirk Cousins is fully capable of winning 3 or 4 games should McCarthy continue to miss time the way that McCarthy has missed time through both years of his NFL career. I can't imagine a world where both Kirk and Kevin O'Connell wouldn't want to reunite.
We mentioned yesterday that Will Levis was part of the list of super deep indie cuts, as Solak puts it.
I love that.
On the quarterback market. He also put Jalen Milroe on there, which I thought was interesting.
I saw Milroe post a picture on Instagram the other day. I don't know why his Instagram popped up on my feed, but it's him, celebrating the Super Bowl because he was obviously drafted by the Seahawks.
QB3
this year with a cigar. How many games was he even active for? Big old cigar. He got a champagne bottle in his hand. Whatever, man.
He appeared in 3.
Okay, very good.
He had 3 carries on the season. I thought we would see a little more Jalen Milroe. I don't know, goal line package, utilize his elite athleticism. But Solak proposes a potential Milroe trade. He also mentions Tanner McKee of the Eagles, Davis Mills, who was pretty good in place of C.J. Stroud last year. Hell, should the Texans just have a QB competition with how bad Stroud finished the season?
Diana came on here, what was that, the week before they played the Texans, and said they are not trading Davis Mills. They want Davis Mills to be there because the C.J. Stroud thing it's tenuous. Not even just that, like, if you have a good backup quarterback situation, what is the cost that's going to make you comfortable shipping that guy off? I mean, you see the state of quarterback play for starting quarterbacks. Houston cannot afford. Houston does not have the season that they have. Did Davis Mills lose a start?
I think he went 3-0, if I'm not mistaken.
Houston does not have the success that they have without Davis Mills. You don't just like I want the Titans to get a viable backup quarterback because I'm willing to bet that Cam Ward does not start 17 games next year. It's just by percentage chance, no shot.
He did go 3-0, but C.J. Stroud did not stink it up the entire season. Like, they had a rough start.
He wasn't good.
He got hurt. He came back. Things were steady, and then he melted down.
But he was never
in the playoffs.
He was never the player that people expected him to be.
No,
maybe
never
he didn't
consistently
stink in every game, but he was just the erraticism from him.
He was if we're going to give Davis Mills credit for going 3-0, then we should give C.J. Stroud some credit for going 6-0 down the stretch, playing quarterback for the Texans. He did melt down at the end of the year. Down the last 6 games of the year, he quarterbacked them to a 6-0 finish.
How many interceptions did he throw in that 6-0 finish? Because or turnovers generally, because he turned it over in their first round game. He turned it over against the
Eight. He had 8 picks in the regulars. Nope, I'm reading his touchdowns. Only 2. He had 8 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Okay. How many fumbles, though? He had
Completely
fumbles all
shot
over
your
the place.
entire argument.
No, not at all. Pull up his fumbles.
I don't see his fumbles in front of me.
He had 5 turnovers in that playoff game.
Yeah, in the playoffs, the fumbles were a problem. And the end, through 4 picks against the Patriots, he just had a complete meltdown. He did.
Robert, what did you want to say?
Just the regular season, he wasn't bad. I think that injury that took him out that started the Davis Mills kind of set him back. When he played the Ravens and they were shorthanded, do not get me wrong.
That was early.
I think week 5, 23 of 27, that's 85% completion percentage, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns.
But wasn't that in the first half of the season when the Ravens defense was giving up 35 points a game?
They were like that all year. That was immediately after the Matabike injury, so they were just a sieve on defense.
Because I remember being in Arizona looking up at the Jumbotron and being like, oh my God.
I will say the Ravens the very next week played the Rams and Matthew Stafford extremely close with that same shorthanded defense. So he did have moments this year where he did look like that quarterback.
No, he was terrible in the playoffs, but to say C.J. Stroud was just awful from start to finish is just not true.
I wouldn't say that. I said you can't trust him.
I would say that is true.
615-737-1045 is the number. We can continue to have this conversation. Take your phone calls next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045. That's how you jump in. We were just talking about quarterback movement this offseason. If you want to chime in on that, you're welcome to do so. You got to stop doing this to callers.
Me?
Yes, you.
What did I do?
You got to stop trying to fool me by misspelling their names by one letter if you've previously made that error, for those of you who were listening to the show yesterday.
I'm unfamiliar with what you're speaking of. We've got Pim in Columbia who wants to talk about quarterbacks in free agency.
Tim, you don't have to put up with this disrespect. Tim in Columbia joins us now.
Hey, yeah, I've got a question in here. I know several years ago there was a push to have scrambling quarterbacks, more college-type quarterbacks. This year you saw 4 teams go to the championship games, and all were pocket passers. And I know this is going to make me sound racist, but they're all white, all pocket passer quarterbacks.
Well, no. I mean, Drake May's not that. He got to the Super Bowl with his legs.
Well, what I'd say first is passing. I mean,
definitely
all
not.
Use the legs to some extent.
I would go, no, not to some extent. They won the AFC Championship game because he was able to extend drives.
Let him finish.
Well, I would argue that a lot of these teams are looking for free agent quarterbacks due to them trying to make scrambling quarterbacks work that is not working.
I think that if you do not have mobility in the NFL right now as a quarterback, it is to your detriment unless you're Matt Stafford.
Sam Darnold isn't the most mobile.
He had a critical scramble in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
He's not a statue.
Sure, but there is so much middle ground there. Like, yes, Drake May made some plays with his legs, pivotal plays in their playoff run. Drake May is not a dual threat quarterback, I would say. I'd be hard-pressed to call him a dual threat. When I think dual threat.
What?
I think about a dual threat
pull up
quarterback.
His rushing numbers right now.
Drake May, what do you think he rushed for in the regular season?
I bet he had 400-plus yards rushing.
Drake May finished with, all right, fair enough, 450.
I mean, yeah. I also wouldn't say that's like a prolific rusher or anything.
No, but I'm saying mobility, like if you do not have plus mobility, you can be a detriment at times.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'll give you that.
It makes defenses not have to account for all 11. It's the argument with Cam Ward not taking advantage of rushing lanes when they're there, and Bo Hardegree basically having to drill him with Patrick Mahomes film in that stretch where he started to take advantage of those opportunities more. You can there are things, and again, I don't know if it has anything to do with the color of their skin or not. I mean, there's plenty of Cam Ward is not a rushing quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, right? There's other players, regardless of race, that utilize mobility. Whether they do it efficiently or not is the question. Ryan Tannehill was a plus athlete. Ryan Tannehill's legs, Ryan Tannehill's athleticism was one of his biggest attributes.
I guess dual threat quarterbacks have gotten so good at the dual part that I feel like it's raised the bar of what is labeled as a dual threat quarterback in my mind. Like when I think dual threat quarterback, I think about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels, guys that it's rushing for 800 yards and 12 touchdowns, right?
Who's rushing for 800 yards other than Lamar on a regular basis?
Jaden Daniels did his rookie year. I don't know what Josh Allen's final numbers were.
Jalen Hurts probably has. Yeah. But I would be willing to bet that Drake May had more rushing yards or as many rushing yards as Josh Allen did last year.
This past season?
Yeah. If you pull those up.
No.
I bet they're pretty close.
Allen had about 150 more.
Okay. That's pretty damn close.
And quite a few more touchdowns.
Well, sure. 615-737-1045 is the number. Chad is in Nashville.
This is one of my favorite conversations. I played quarterback in a bowl game 1,000 years ago.
What bowl game?
Nothing. But you wouldn't even know. It's Midwest Bowl. It was a national junior college, absolutely nothing. Got destroyed.
It counts.
And walked off the field. Well, it counted when I walked off the field and decided I was not going to play football anymore and become a musician, but that's neither here nor there. When I think about quarterback play, I think about, and I call it just an ability to move the pocket. I don't really say mobility. Tom Brady was brilliant at moving the pocket, and I think I've heard a lot of people use the word integrity rushing the quarterback, meaning do you really have to honor your lanes? I think that came up a little bit here. But, I think Kirk Cousins is one of the most overrated quarterbacks, the kind of money he made in this era, because I don't think he can move the pocket. So I think he's a guy that if you're a defensive coordinator, you're like, hey, we can rush this guy with zero integrity. Leave your lane, speed rush. He's not moving the pocket. So it's can they move within the pocket? And actually Sam Darnold was actually pretty good at it. That's one of my – so I don't look at dual threat. I look at ability to move the pocket. But I'm curious about this question. I've asked everybody this over and over, and the answers vary so much. And, Sam Darnold's another good example how we give up on quarterbacks after a year or what have you. But J.J. McCarthy, where is that guy? If the Vikings say they want to move on, they're going to try and get a Mac Jones or sign Daniel Jones or go out and chase another quarterback, and they don't want the controversy, and they try to trade him. What can they all you need is one team. But the answers on this question, and I've been asking everybody, and I'm kind of a talk radio germ, the answers will blow your mind how they vary from late first round to fifth round pick. I'm just curious what you all think. What is JJ? A year ago he was worth maybe a top 5 pick. What is he worth tomorrow if the Vikings try to trade him? Your thoughts, fellas.
Thank you for the call. My position is you cannot move him if you're Kevin O'Connell because you're the guy banging the drum for quarterbacks get churned and burned too.
Yeah, but it's just a hypothetical.
Yeah,
question.
I understand the question, but I think it is if they trade J.J. McCarthy under a new general manager. Who's the interim general manager? Because they're not hiring a new GM for this year, right?
It's like Ryan Grigson or something like that. I can't. No, it's not that guy. It's someone else. But they do have an interim who's going to run free agency in the draft for them.
Yeah. Before we address what could he be worth, my position is you cannot trade him if you're Kevin O'Connell outright. You got to figure it out, bud, because you're the guy who's banging the drum for quarterback development is a lost art in the NFL. Now, how many games has J.J. McCarthy played out
10.
of a possible 2 seasons?
10.
He's played 10 out of a possible, 34?
Correct. If my math is correct.
If 17 times 2 is 34, then yes.
Carrying the one.
Nobody feels good about that.
Not including
is correct.
playoffs.
Right. Okay. So of 34 possible regular season games, he has played in 10. Health is something,
I'd say it's more accurate to say he played in 10 of 17 possible games. It's not like he was going to be the starter last year. He was hurt, but he still would have been a backup to Darnold.
Sure.
But point taken.
Okay. So he's unavailable, largely, and his sample size is very erratic as a player.
11 touchdowns, 12 picks.
There was enough there. He's got some mobility to him, but there is not a lot of skill as far as the quarterback goes. I can't imagine that you would get anything more than a day 3 pick.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who's calling you?
Scam.
If it's loud enough that we can hear the vibrate, it doesn't count.
It's a scam. Who are the most statuesque quarterbacks?
Flacco
right now. Flacco, Stafford.
Darnold's not statuesque. He moves around back there, but he's not advancing the ball, right? He's running. Well, Tua.
Rodgers.
Rodgers used to have that. Rodgers still tries, though, right? Because that was the whole thing in that playoff game. Like, he pulled up. He had a first down. Chris Collinsworth was commenting on his lack of athleticism, or not lack of athleticism, but the depreciation of his athleticism because he tried to make a scramble play and then pulled up and got himself hit.
There's so many instances where you watch Aaron Rodgers and say, 10 years ago he's running for that, where he doesn't.
Sure. No, it was a huge part of his game.
Tua was a dual-threat quarterback coming out of high school. I remember he was considered to be a major runner at Alabama.
After the hip injury, it completely changed who he was, right, as a player, because he was a very effective dual-threat player. And then, what was it, like hip dysplasia or something like that he got in college? So, the old heads, right?
Goff does not get out and run.
Goff doesn't move very well relative to other NFL quarterbacks in the league. I'm sure we could go through the list and just kind of look at starting quarterbacks. does Jordan Love run?
I was thinking about that.
He doesn't.
Not like Malik Willis.
No, God, no. Look at Jordan Love's. I'm sure he's not immobile. Let's look at Jordan Love's rushing stats.
He had 199 rush yards.
So it's not really a part of his game.
Career high 247 2 years ago.
But I don't think that he's immobile back there, right? Like, if you get to Stafford, you've got Stafford.
Yeah, there's categories, I think. There's high-level dual threat, Lamar, Josh Allen. There is higher-level mobile quarterbacks like Drake May, Bo Nix. And there's guys that can move the pocket, that can escape, like a Jordan Love. And then there's the statues like Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff.
Well, and there's also guys who have just taken a beating. Like, I don't think Stroud uses his mobility as often. I think Burrow's another one of these that's a lot more hesitant than he used to be. Because Joe Burrow was making hay his rookie year.
He's great
a
at
lot
just
of these.
the 6-7 yard scramble. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah. He also had a comment, I believe it was his sophomore or junior.
I don't think we should reward that behavior. He just forced that in there.
He forced what in?
Okay, all that looks like is you're fondling yourself.
Juggling them right now. 6'7", baby.
We got to go.
Well, hang on 1 second. He had a comment early on in his career that he's okay taking sacks on first and second down because he knows he can live with those.
Who, Burrow?
Yes, Burrow is much less likely to take a sack on third down because he can't make those yards up.
Would you rather have the number 4 overall pick in the draft or Max Crosby as a Titans fan? We'll talk about it next.
12:05. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The New York Giants are collecting former Titans coaches as former Titans head coach Brian Callahan reportedly will join John Harbaugh's staff as the quarterback's coach to work with Jackson Dart. He joins former Titans coaches like Tim Kelly, the tight ends coach, linebackers coach Frank Bush, and defensive coordinator Denard Wilson, as well as Titans head coaching finalist Matt Nagy, who is the offensive coordinator under Harbaugh. On Tuesday night, number 19 Vanderbilt improved to 7-4 in SEC play, 84-76, the road win over Auburn. Tyler Tanner staying hot with 25 points and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Tennessee remains on the road tonight as they travel to Mississippi State. Tip-off at 8 p.m. You can catch the Vol Network call with coverage starting at 7:30 right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So now that the NFL season is over and the Seahawks are the champions, Clint Kubiak can now take his place and has done so as the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Why would you care about that in Nashville, Tennessee, other than it's a little bit of NFL news? Well, one of the biggest storylines of last season, especially towards the end of the regular season, was the idea of Max Crosby and how Max Crosby, the star pass rusher, was displeased with the way that Vegas handled him being shut down for the end of the season. He was dealing with injury. He wanted to play. Vegas opted basically not to let him, and it caused some consternation with him in the building. Now, Clint Kubiak has gotten to the podium in the days following the Super Bowl, talking about he was one of the first people to reach out to, that Max Crosby was one of the first people that Clint Kubiak reached out to when he accepted the position, trying to mend fences in that particular situation. Obviously, to have Max Crosby is better than to not have Max Crosby, especially who's the second best defensive player in Vegas right now?
Bert? Ball-knowing Bert?
Man, I about cussed. Shoot. Let's go. Let's go Adam Butler.
Is that the interior defensive lineman?
Out of Tennessee.
No, you're thinking of Matthew Butler.
Oh, Matthew Butler.
Matthew Butler, who no longer plays for the Raiders.
Oh, well, then it's
He's
Adam Butler. Then it's Adam Butler. Let me pull up the Raiders hour lads, dude. Maybe I'm out of practice.
No, I don't. I just don't think there's much there. I mean, there may be somebody floating around back there. But
Devin White, lead tackler.
Oh, it's probably Max Crosby.
Jamal Adams.
Jeremy Chin was a really good player early on for Carolina. It might be him. Remember when they were trying to make Devin White be like, look how good he is. Look how many tackles he
That's
has.
who Lucas just submitted. Well, Ian Rappaport got out there doing some agent PR stuff.
He should be in the Pro Bowl. No, he should not.
Caillou Blue Kelly, great name.
He never really panned out, though, as a corner.
But it's a great name.
He has played for like 105 NFL teams.
That's crazy. Because he was a day 2 pick?
Malcolm Kuntz.
5th round.
Had a nice season.
Oh, Adam Butler is on this team. He is. It's probably Adam Butler. Oh, how about talk about great names? How about Tonka Hemingway?
Dang, that's not a real player.
I'm 4th round of last year's draft.
Tyree Wilson didn't really pan out, did he? He had 4 sacks last year.
Either way,
he's kind of the backup.
The question that is being posed: who?
Charles Snowden. You guys know Snowden, the guy that like leaked a bunch of that stuff and had to flee the country. Well, I know. I'm saying that's
JJ Pegues.
Oh,
young player.
I'm surprised he didn't get any fullback run. Didn't
Do
he
the two of you just want to name Raiders defensive players for this segment?
Michael Mayer. Remember Michael Mayer?
That's an offensive player.
Oh, right, but he's just kind of just sitting behind Brock
He had
Bowers.
9 tackles.
Michael Mayer?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
9 tackles?
I mean, I think about how many interceptions Gino threw.
Yeah, true. They probably did come on interceptions.
He might as well be a linebacker out there.
Hey, Jamal Adams. Licky?
Yep.
Somebody named Licky?
Licky Fotu. Great names.
I like
man.
Licky better. Licky Fotu.
Jacob Bobenmoyer. These are just all time.
Boben who?
I'm not even making these up.
What position does he play?
Linebacker. Long snapper. Sorry.
Oh, my God. Are you two done?
He's a free agent. The Titans could. Hey, tell you what, we're going to get into it at 12:20. Titans offseason needs. Neither one of you have said special teams yet. Could long snapper Jacob Bobenheim?
No, I said
might,
special teams.
Oh.
Yeah.
We both said special
I
teams.
did too. It was
All
both
three
of
of
our.
us said special teams.
Oh, okay, I was just making
This
sure.
segment was your idea. You're not even listening?
Lonnie Johnson, Titans legend.
Oh, my God. I forgot about Lonnie Johnson.
Plays for the Raiders.
Safety.
Greedy Vance. What you know about a greedy?
Will you get to the damn point, Buck?
Yeah, come on, dude. You're wasting
God.
everybody's time.
Isaiah Pola-Mao. I mean, these are just.
Just go to break.
Oh,
I don't even care.
No.
Don't even care.
No, seriously.
I'm gonna pout.
The number 4 pick or Max Crosby. So Max Crosby, it has been highly publicized that he's not happy in Las Vegas. Diana Rossini was on 98.5, the sports hub in Boston, saying that Crosby has told her before he would love to play for Mike Vrabel.
Sure.
There seems to be this expectation he'll be traded, would obviously take a monster deal and trade package.
But what is that like? He's not going for what Micah Parsons went for.
Wouldn't think so.
He's older.
He's 28. Be 29 in August.
He's not old, but he's older and he's dealing with injuries. I mean,
and it is a year later in the market, which will only go up.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that he would exceed on his next contract what Micah Parsons is making, but he does play a premium position and is under 30. Like, if I'm his agent, that would certainly be the starting point for my negotiations. Man. So, for Titans fans, if there was a package that existed on a roster that needs desperate help all over the place, but you were given the option of, I mean, should we just say straight up, even though it will probably cost more than just the number 4 overall pick?
It would.
It shouldn't cost more than that, frankly.
Would you be willing?
Number 4 or Max Crosby?
Yeah, basically. The conversation can boil
Ruben
down
Bain
to that.
or Max Crosby?
Yeah.
I would really struggle. The Raiders, where are the Raiders picking right now in the first round?
You goober. They have the first overall pick.
Oh, that's stupid.
We've been talking about Fernando Mendoza
That's
as a
real dumb.
Raider for
But to
weeks.
your point,
That's real dumb.
your
by
point.
me.
Maybe they give you their second back. Maybe you
Their
give
second
them.
pick?
They give you like in the second round.
That was exceedingly dumb by me.
When do the Raiders pick?
When do the Seahawks pick?
That was very dumb by me. I personally would rather have Max Crosby than an edge rusher that I don't know anything about. Because I know Max Crosby is excellent. I don't know what Ruben Bain is going to be. When is the last time, I mean, we've done this exercise before, but when is the last time that the Titans have taken a first-round pass rusher?
Oh, we have done this exercise before, and I cannot remember.
Derek Morgan. Derek Morgan. Harold was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
He could have been a first, but I think he had a torn ACL coming out of BC. And they traded up to get Harold because they only had 4 picks. They ended up only with 4 picks in that draft. That was Rashawn Evans, Harold Landry, Dane Cruikshank, and Luke Falk.
Nick Suss had a great stat on this, that NFL teams have used 86 first-round picks on edge rushers, 35 of whom have been Pro Bowlers since the Titans last drafted an edge in the first round.
I would rather have Max Crosby than Ruben Bain. But, you know, it gets into a conversation about how close are you to competing and will you be viable with, because I'm assuming there's going to be more draft picks associated with that trade rather than number 4 for Max Crosby straight up. It's not a perfect scenario to kind of play out, but I don't know. Max Crosby next to Jeff or on the same front with Jeff, that's hell for anybody, no matter what happens to Devondre Sweat.
And you're not in a great place to trade back from, like, it's not like you're in a spot that is, you know, a carrot to dangle for a QB needy team or something to trade up to and maybe give you a first or a second round pick that then you could feel better about dealing for somebody like Max Crosby. It's this awkward place at 4 overall where it doesn't feel like right now in early February there's going to be a great demand for somebody to trade into the top 5.
Yeah, man, I think I'd rather have Max Crosby. You two disagree?
My only issue with it is not only are you trading an asset for him that you would control for the next 4 to 5 with the 5th-year option given up, you're going to have to pay a dude and give him more money. The Titans are in a position to do that, but I generally would just always rather have a player that you have team control over than someone you have to acquire and then give them more assets to keep them.
Because the last time they did this, they botched it. It was Julio.
And Snead, really. Like, you had to trade for Snead and give him a new deal. Like, it was a third-round pick. It was to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
But just any of those instances where you have to give up plus, I'm always looking at it. You're trying to gain value. You're already, but at negative value that this player has to replace.
I do think that edge is a different conversation than 32-year-old wide receiver and corner with degenerative knee issues.
And Max Crosby has his question marks. How many games has he played in the last 2 years? You know what I mean? And he's not a young spring chicken. He is under 30, but he's getting closer.
He only missed 2 games last year, but he was injured and famously, literally refused to be shut down for the season. He missed 5 games the year prior. Before that, he has been remarkably available.
Also, where is this thing? Because I'm not getting a ton of them, but I just saw one of the comments on YouTube, and I've gotten a couple of tweets about this. Philadelphia is not trading AJ. Are they? Is there any discussion whatsoever about that?
Howie Roseman kind of shut it down. Not really, but kind of basically said, we love A.J. Brown.
In what world is A.J. Brown coming back here?
Yeah. If anything, you could see him landing in New England and reunite with Vrabel.
If you wanted to punish A.J. Brown, you'd send him back here.
The issue with trading him is the team that signs the void years are the team that keeps them.
AJ?
So, yes. So, if you go look at A.J. Brown's contract, it is a litany, just year after year, of void cap year charges where you would be stuck paying for a dude that's not on your team anymore, which always tough.
It just sounds like something that somebody came up with on Reddit and is trying to make into a real thing.
Jacob tweeted at us and said, it's not Crosby or the fourth. It's Max Crosby or 4 plus 2 or 3 other free agents to fill other holes. I guess insinuating that there would have to be players thrown into the deal. I think it would be more picks thrown into the deal.
No, I think if I'm understanding that tweet correctly, he's alleging that the money that it would cost you to sign Max Crosby would prevent you from getting other free agents. But
and you'd also be Jeff Simmons probably going to have to get a new contract soon.
Jeff is due.
You could be a situation where if Max Crosby's on this team, you've got 2 of the highest paid front 7 players in the NFL on the same team.
And what you're worried about is if you trade for him, you keep him, and he gets stuck here, then you'd be saying Crosby is still in Nash. I don't care what y'all say.
No,
I don't care what y'all say.
It's the delivery like it's part of it.
Crosby stills in Nash.
Yeah, I know the joke. I got the joke. Go to break. I'm still so mad at you for that joke.
Mad at me?
Mad at you.
I'm mad at me because I didn't put a Crosby, Stills, and Nash song in here to bump back with. I was like, dang it, dude.
He's too busy just rolling in his own in his own genius back there to actually pay off the joke with Crosby, Stills, and Nash music coming back. Although that would put me to sleep. I can't think of a worse like sports talk radio. What do you call those things? Bumps?
Yep.
Yeah, worse bump than a sleepy Crosby, Stills, and Nash song. Although they do have some great music.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Hold on. I'm about to find you a banger.
Okay.
Name one.
Almost Cut My Hair.
Me? Well, I couldn't possibly. I just associate them with, like, I don't know.
Just don't even say anything else. Titans have a lot of needs, and we spent 20 minutes yesterday ranking their bottom 4 needs, the lowest priority. So today we move on to the middle 4, 8, 7, 6, and 5. To quickly recap, Buck, what did you have as your 12th, 11th, 10th, and 9th lowest priorities, we'll say, for the Titans?
Running back, off-ball linebacker.
Running back at 12.
From 12 to 9. Running back, off-ball linebacker, special teams, offensive tackle.
Bert?
I had safety at 12, 11 or special teams at 11, quarterback at 10, and linebacker at 9.
Okay. I also had running back as the lowest priority, linebacker is the second lowest, then special teams, then quarterback. The 8th highest level of need on the Titans roster heading into this offseason to you, Buck, is what?
To me, well, okay, so we have to take into consideration that they have not cleared cap with any of these players at this point in time. So, pending moves with Lloyd Cushenberry, I'm going to put interior offensive line at 8 because Lloyd is there now. I would make the case to keep Lloyd Cushenberry. I know there's some feedback on him that's not great. I know that he had an up and down season. I'm going to give him a little grace and be like, the first year back for anybody off an Achilles is tough, no matter what your position is. And I would rather Cam have a veteran, experienced center, as long as it doesn't, run directly opposed to what's the new offensive line coach's name, Brasillo?
Yep.
As long as it doesn't run completely counter, no pun intended, to what Brasillo wants to do as an offensive line coach.
That pun would be a reach, but I get what you were doing.
Counter.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said.
No ball.
It'd just be a bit of a reach.
I thought it was a good joke.
He learned that listening to Ryan Brasillo's podcast.
No, I'm learning other things on Ryan Brasillo's Instagram. You guys see that over the weekend?
That was an oh-no for sure.
What are you doing, bud? Good on you.
What do you mean by, you said negative feedback on Lloyd Cushenberry?
I think there's a lot of people who would like to cut Lloyd Cushenberry and save $12 million. Or what I think it ends up being like 9 and change.
You have 9 in dead money. You would only make 3.4 in cutting him.
Oh, yeah,
the real savings comes next year when you could cut him and save him.
I think there's a lot of people that are just ready to move on from every free agent that Rand Carthon signed. Calvin, Snead, Kenneth Murray's already gone, obviously. Cushenberry is a part of that class that looked good, but what is your term for that free agency?
Sugar rush.
Sugar rush free agency. I am in favor of keeping Lloyd Cushenberry because you still have to figure out the guard situation. I'm not in favor of keeping Zeitler or bringing back Zeitler. I think he was the most underperforming element of that offensive line relative to his pedigree.
Yeah, he's not getting any younger.
So, Skoronski good. Extension eligible, by the way. Peter Skoronski after last season. If you have to figure out, you've got enough problems, don't create another need, I would put interior offensive line at 8. Maybe Slater turns into something that's viable as a guard. Maybe they acquire a free agent that's more cost-effective than a 1-year, $9 million, what was he, 36, 35 Zeitler at that point in his career.
And at the end of the season, to note, they were able to snag Garrett Dellinger off of Cleveland's practice squad. He was a 7th-round pick by the Ravens, was cut at training camp, was added to Cleveland's practice squad. They would have liked to add him at the end of the year when they only had 2 healthy guards. The Titans swooped in and picked him up before they were able to. So someone that was a draft pick, someone that was highly thought of by 2 AFC North teams, I would imagine he would be at least a player in that right guard competition.
Do you?
I have offensive tackle as my number 8, which you had at what, 9, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm right there. And again, it is in the bottom half of my needs for the Titans.
Stop copying my list.
Would not be upset if they address it in the draft and if they address it within the first 2 days of the draft. Can't have enough. And J.C. Latham, while he was better in the back stretch, which is kind of a departure from his rookie year, right, where he was head above water for most of the season, then kind of hit a bit of a wall. High expectations for him going into year 2. Had that hip injury that clearly derailed him. But on aggregate, I think we'd say J.C. Latham underperformed in 2025, back at his more natural right side of the offensive line position.
He was supposed to be better. He was not. And I get that the hip, he said he was playing through the hip thing all year long. I'm sure that's deeply unpleasant for a man who's 320 pounds plus.
You by no means punt on J.C. Latham, I don't think, going into 2026. Obviously, people have brought up Jermaine Illuminor and the tie that he has with Carmen Brasillo, with Brian Dable.
He's a guard, isn't he?
He was a guard to start his career and ended up moving out to tackle and kind of cites Brasilla's help in getting him ready to play tackle in the NFL.
So would not be upset if they addressed it whatsoever. But, yeah, it's in my bottom half, sitting there at 8.
I also have tackle at 8. And for some of the stuff that we mentioned last time we were doing this list, you only have 3 of them active on game days. If you want to include Dan Moore, J.C. Latham, and a combination of bringing back Oli Udoh or Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, I don't think that there needs to be a large investment into that. There are much bigger holes that they need to make note of.
Agreed.
7.
Who do you guys have at 7?
Safety, which was Robert's 12th, if I remember correctly.
That is correct, yes.
Listen, I would not pretend to know the ins and outs of Sanusi Kane's career other than he played a lot of football for this team down the stretch because they just ran out of safeties, right? Kevin Winston ended up back on injured reserve, but I'm excited by the idea of Kevin Winston. I'm not sold by any stretch of the imagination. He's one of those potential over actual, concrete, proven commodity, although when he flashed big. A lot of people down on Amani Hooker, and I think that's compounded by 2 things. I think it's compounded by the fact that their secondary was god-awful as a whole, corners and safeties, and the fact that Amani got paid right before the season started, and so he's more expensive. You're looking at him being like, that guy isn't worth the money. I think Amani Hooker's a good football player. They have Xavier Woods, who has been a good football player, had some moments this year, but again, how much more heavy lifting they were having to do on the very back end because of the corner situation. I do think that I would like a little additional depth there because Xavier Woods was on a 2-year deal, so he's got 1 year left on his deal.
Who is it?
Yep, who is it?
Potential spam.
I don't believe that.
How do I get my watch to stop ringing? Doing it again.
It must be important spam. Must be a Masubi.
Oh, love spam Masubi. Xavier Woods, played in 11 games, so missed 6. Kevin Winston Jr. played in 10 games, missed 7. So similar concerns there.
Yeah, missing 6 and 7 games is not the play that you want to do. But my argument for it being the least is I think they have the guys there that they will dance with, right? But to your point,
yeah, likely they had their starting 3. If they're running out there in nickel and dime looks, you got your three safety looks.
But they could improve upon the back end of safety. So I will hear that argument. You could definitely improve over Sanusi Kane or Kendall Brooks.
What you got, Robert?
Oh, you also had safety there.
No, I have interior offensive line.
Oh, okay.
At 7, which we kind of covered.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, at 7 for me, I have tight end. I don't need a large investment into this position, but I do think that whoever ends up being the next tight end 2 behind Gunnar Helm will shape what this team is going to be on offense. And that's a large statement, but hear me out. If they end up going with a beefier, more block-ready tight end, I think that that would show you that they're going to be a run-first, play-action type team, and it would be a necessity that they add a guy like that. If they're okay with David Martin Robinson, who I don't really look at as this super keen blocker, more of a receiver.
Other than special teams.
If they add another Y or are okay going in and they just add a supplementary piece, I think they're going to be more willing to spread them out. I think that would be one of the canaries in the coal mine of this team of which direction they would want to go. But I don't need to see a major investment in a tight end. I just need to see another player for Cam, someone else that can get open in the intermediate to quick and short routes, something that would help him key and diagnose, run a little bit quicker, and not have to worry about holding the ball.
So you want beef?
I would like them to add beef, yes.
I also want beef, which we can get tomorrow at T-Line Nashville by ordering the Ghost Burger. 8-ounce local USDA certified grass-fed beefalo burger, potato bun, ghost pepper jam, arugula, tomato pickle, ghost pepper cheese with curling fries.
Yeah, because the two of you don't have digestive issues enough.
Curling fries.
I offered to buy you breakfast, and you said no. I had cigarettes and an Alani.
Last time you brought me breakfast, you brought me a Danish.
We'll be at T-Line Nashville tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting live, so we'll cover 2 and 3HL. Come out and test your curling skills with us. Some food, some drinks. We'll watch some Olympic men's hockey. It'll be a great time. 1045thezone.com for more info.
I feel like Robert's just going to get pissed drunk at this thing.
No, that's not. That's entirely possible.
Likely.
Where the hell were we at? Who's on first?
It's me.
All right, go ahead then.
So I'm at 6.
Yes. What do you have at 6?
Tight end. Gunner's fine. You need versatility. You need a more viable blocking tight end. You need more than one tight end in the NFL. You're going to have multiple starting sets with multiple tight end sets. In fact, I would like to see them run more 2 tight end sets. I'm not saying they have to be the Rams where they up the percentage of 3 tight end sets and just become this mauling offensive front type of situation. But Gunner is a player who is in progress and ascending, and you feel good about that. And I've no issue whatsoever with him taking over as the guy who gets the bulk of the snaps. But obviously with Chig pending as a free agent and DMR, whatever. You can find another DMR as far as I'm concerned. I need another Jeff Swaim out there. I need another blocker. I need another human tree trunk. Put Luke Stocker back in pads, the tight ends coach, and let's see what they got. What are you making faces at? You looking at the menu?
He's still looking at the menu.
The T-Line wings, they have a gochujang flavor.
A what?
Gochujang.
It's like a I'm going to say that I think it's like a
Korean
fermented
barbecue?
It's a Korean like chili paste.
Oh, okay.
Fermented Korean chili.
Oh, so good.
There's no way you're saying that right.
That is correct. Gochujang.
I'm not going to you for pronunciation.
How have you not? Come on. You've never heard of gochujang? It's like a staple Korean ingredient.
You know, it's a weird thing because like I like Korean food, I like Thai food, I like Chinese food, but it's not something that I ever crave necessarily. Like if you're saying
constantly.
Let's go to Hawkers, I'm like, yeah, love Hawkers, love pad Thai, love Korean barbecue wings, I'm in. But like it's not something that inherently, if I'm hungry, I'm going to get some pad Thai.
They have pizza, they have burgers.
Calm down.
They have sliders.
Who's 6th?
I have safety.
Okay.
I think it's a middling need for the Titans. 5. 5th biggest need.
Robert.
I'm sorry, Robert.
Hold on now, Bubba. See, you guys both had running back at 12. I have running back at 6. While I don't need a large investment into this position, I do think there needs to be a succession pick at this. Like I think maybe a greater investment than a 6th-round pick like Khalil Mullings was last year, but Tony Pollard's on the last year of his deal. Tajay Spears is not getting any healthier.
He is what they call a one-contract player. Like, this is how NFL scouts evaluate a lot of these dudes. Again, the Tajay's health issues have not been because or as a result of his lack of ACL.
Right.
But when you are talking about the sustainability, the long-term sustainability of a player, the thing that you heard at the Combine, which we'll be up at in a couple of weeks, is that Tajay Spears was considered a one-contract player by the vast majority of teams that scouted him.
Right. So I don't need them to go out and sign a Kenneth Walker But if they wanted to bring in someone to be a complement to what is already going on, to take Julius Chestnut's spot, if they wanted to go out and get a Jerome Ford, who played a lot of meaningful snaps for the Browns, someone that adds a skill set that they do not currently have that can make this backfield a little more multiple, whether it's what have you. I think that it would be wise for them to do that, to plan for the future, because maybe they bring Tony back, maybe they don't, but I would like to have something going into next season that doesn't put Tajay Spears in the position to take 20 carries a game. There needs to be something there that would make you feel confident about that running back position moving on into the next.
That's fair. Like, I won't argue against that very much. I have it as 12th like you do, but you are a Tony Pollard, and he's been remarkably available since he got here.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to lean on Tajay.
Yeah, you're an injury away from being in a kind of a dire spot at running
I just
back.
think if you get the offensive line situation right, that does the vast majority of the heavy lifting for you at the running back. Like the running backs, there are only so many players who are able to be game-changing running backs without competent offensive line play. And frankly, the explosives in the run game far more often come from defensive miscues, like just missed gap assignments and stuff like that. So I am grading on a curve of, at least for my value of, I don't think that it's the thing that's going to put them over the top. They're not in a position to have a running back that puts them over the top. Like, I put them more in the quality of the Raiders shouldn't have drafted Genty when they did, because as a franchise, as a roster, they were not ready for that.
5.
I went back and forth on this.
Yeah, this and 4 were my toughest picks.
5th biggest need.
I'm going to say quarterback.
If you would have had quarterback in the top, I forgot.
I really wanted to put quarterback in the top 4. Because, Robert, I'm just to say, it's not because I'm like out on Cam or anything like that. Like, I think there is more evidence to think that Cam Ward is going to be viable than not. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination out on Cam Ward. My thing is, I in no way, shape, or form think that player is going to start 17 games again. I think if you want to have a chance to be meaningfully competitive, like if they're going to push for a wild card spot and they get into a situation where they need a couple of games, 2 or 3 games here or there to keep them alive, it's just make the graphic, right? The bar for last year was make the in the hunt graphic. If we're going to raise the bar again for them to make the in the hunt graphic, it can't be Brandon Allen back there. You got to have somebody who's got legit starting quarterback experience in their background, whether it be Jameis,
Tyrod,
Kirk. How much longer? How old is Tyrod Taylor? He's been doing
He'll be 37
for so long. But I wanted to put quarterback higher because I place an inherent higher value on it. I will bet anybody $100 that Cam Ward does not start 17 games again next year. By percentage chance, it's not going to happen that way. I wanted to, and maybe this is a spoiler for tomorrow, I went back and forth between interior defensive line because the only thing that they have on that roster is Sweat. Or, excuse me, is Jeff, as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's nothing about Sweat to me is proven. You're excited about the idea of it. Hell, he's more uncertain to me than somebody like Kevin Winston, because the only thing that's holding Kevin Winston back is his body fails him. Sweat, I don't know what to do with. And listen, they can.
But why are you doing tomorrow's today?
Because I'm saying, like, the value of what we have here, because I literally have written down here IDL at 5, but I'm going to slot quarterback back a slot because I think they have more proven for what you need to field a football team at the quarterback position than they do on the interior defensive line.
Backup quarterback is absolutely a need. I just have a hard time saying it's a bigger need than a lot of the positions that we've already covered. I have tight end at 5. I think it's a top 5 need for the Titans. You need more variety than Gunnar Helm, and they will address it in the offseason. Just exactly how is TBD.
I do have interior defensive line for a lot of the reasons you noted. They have a ton of bodies, or UDFA guys or guys they've picked off the waivers that the old administration liked. But if they are going to move to a 4-3, Will had a great stat this morning on the morning show with Ramon and Will that 8 players recorded half a sack in Robert Saleh's final year with the Jets. I think there were 3 of them that did it for the Titans last year. 3 defensive linemen recorded at least half a sack.
Defensive linemen specifically?
Defensive linemen. Not
I don't feel good
Gotcha.
at all of, like, Interior defensive lineman is obviously it's one of my top 4 priorities for them because, listen, they could try and dress the Sweat thing up as much as they want in post with Jordan Schultz putting up, what was the very nice tweet that Jordan Schultz put out about Tavondre Sweat after the trade deadline when before the trade deadline it was like, oh, this guy doesn't work very hard. You can't get him to do what you need him to do.
He's suddenly a pillar.
Get out of here with that. All right. So, Sweat is tenuous at best. Yeah. We'll see what he does in the offseason. I would love to see him prove me and anybody else who thinks he's not working as hard as he needs to work. Love to see him prove anybody wrong.
Anybody in my top 5, I would like to see them sign one, draft 2. Bring as many dudes in here. If one of them fails, I don't care. But you cannot be caught with your pants down in a 4-3 where you don't have the necessary depth, or you will get ran on.
We'll do the top 4 tomorrow.
Last call for phone calls. If you got them, I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Last call for phone calls, if you got them. 615-737-1045 is the number. We should all clap at the same time. Robert did the clap. Not got the clap. It's such a good song. So,
they have empanadas.
Are you still looking at this menu? You are the fattest person I know. Like, not
queso.
physically,
Hey.
but as you're not.
I'm the fattest person you know.
No, Jackson's the fattest person I know.
With queso marinara.
Queso marinara?
Queso marinara. $13 for 6 beef empanada bites. But if you come out to T-Line Nashville and West Nashville with us tomorrow, you can purchase a ticket for a discounted ice time to try out some curling, half an hour of a curling session, and an appetizer for just $25.
Yum.
Buffalo chicken dip, wings.
You two are going to be disgusting tomorrow. You're going to be covered in buffalo chicken and what's the wings, the wing sauce, the Korean wing sauce?
Gochujang wings.
Covered in gochujang out there trying to curl.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hang out
all over the ice.
Learn how to curl, watch some Olympic hockey, hang out with some listeners, eat some good food.
You're going to be good at that.
Do you think they'll have like a shot luge for us to do? Like, you ever seen like go into a nice person's wedding and they have like the ice sculpture that you can pour shots through?
They did this like influencer thing a couple of years ago that I got invited to, and they did in fact have a luge. That's not a fine. You can't fine me for that. That's not fair.
Yeah, you were.
an influencer thing?
That's why I was there.
You were there, but you're not. I wouldn't call you an influencer.
I make more money off social media than you do, bud.
Yeah, but that's just your mom.
What does that even mean?
He looked at me like, "Thank you for that laugh." That's because
didn't have anywhere else
she
to
just
go.
Sends it to all her friends.
I had to pick her up from the airport at 9:45 last night because she took my 90-year-old grandmother ziplining in Puerto Rico for her 90th. It's like, you're gonna kill my grandmother. Not in a foreign country; it's an American territory. For those of you,
dang,
who still believe that Puerto Rico's not part of the United States.
Is your grandfather still with us?
No.
Well, if she would just like someone to settle down with. I've always told my mom that when she got old enough, I would send her to a retirement home that specialized in making sure older people got all of their needs met, if you're with me. So I would be willing to do that out of the goodness of my heart for your grandmother if I could also go ziplining in another country.
I mean, they spent a week in Puerto Rico. It sounded much better than what we did for a week. All right. Anything else that you need to promote on that sheet of paper before we go, Poles?
Come see us tomorrow.
When Nashville SC, we got a call about Nashville SC. Do we? Aren't games coming up soon for you guys?
Not for like a week.
Aren't games coming up pretty soon?
Their first game is a week from yesterday, and their first MLS regular season game is a week from this Saturday. Julio in Nashville is up next.
Hey, Lucas, I'm glad you brought up Nashville SC because my question is about the Johnny Paris sell and the depth of the midfield. I'm concerned. This is my biggest concern going into the year besides goalkeeper. And I hate that we lost him to Chivas. So I'm curious about where you think we're at with the midfield.
I would say the Johnny Perez sale was a very good business move by Nashville SC. They got double the money that they spent on him, a $3 million transfer fee to send him to Chivas. And
yeah, you're just talking in a foreign language for the vast majority of the audience.
And I would not be surprised.
Are we selling humans?
That's international soccer, bud. It's straight
I feel like
up.
we need to change the phrasing on that.
It's transfer fees. That's what it is. If Manchester City wants X player from Inter Milan, they pay Inter Milan 120 million euros, whatever it might be, for that player's services.
Can't find another.
That's what it's always been.
Way to categorize that.
That's what it's always been. So, Julio, I would expect Nashville.
You didn't say that out loud, did you?
I would expect Nashville to add another midfielder at some point, but currently Eddie Taxeth and Patrick Yazbek are the foundation of that midfield.
Robert with some very problematic wording in my
No, let's do some polls.
No, we don't have time. There's no time.
There's no time.
Especially not for the longest intro that we
picked
have.
the longest possible poll. This is so long.
It's still going.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, but we have no time.
The South's most trusted Ford dealer. All right, very good. That is going to do it for us this afternoon. Have a great rest of your afternoon. So T-Line tomorrow?
Yep.
All right, T-Line tomorrow. Maybe we'll see you there. Maybe we won't.